So, and then every several times a week, the Goethe Institute in every city that they operate has a cultural event: German ballet, German wine tasting, German plays, right? So it's both physical as well as virtual. I think for us, virtual is the best example for us to use right now. But that is the example that I would like us to try to emulate, to try to copy. And Israel has one, I'm sure. Turkey has one, I'm sure. The United States has one, I'm sure. So we can all, in our own countries, look at examples that do this. So that's the example of what we want to try to copy. Now the question is, who are the customers that we want to target? So this is where we need to be careful, because we need to be very focused in the beginning, because right now there are many Circassians who have they have three problems, the Circassians of the world. Number one, they have an inferiority complex. Okay, they say, oh, the Russians have newspapers and books and videos and movies. They are successful. We are not. The Turks have schools and books and music and everything. They are successful. We are not. The Arabs and the Americans and the Jews, they have all of these great, amazing things because they are great, successful nations. We do not have them because we are not smart. We are not good. We are not successful. So this is a subconscious inferiority complex that our people have. That's number one. Number two, our people believe that our language is impossible to learn as an adult because we've never developed a good system to teach it to people who did not speak it as a child. So that's another, and I think I can solve some of that as a spokesman. But then the third one is that our people believe that most of the things that are produced for Circassian language is low quality. Because you look on YouTube and you see all of these amazing high quality videos from people who make money doing it. And then you see somebody with an old camera and bad audio trying his best, but what they don't know is that the other guy on YouTube has 12 people doing all the video production, and this one Hamister guy who's doing his own YouTube is one guy who doesn't know how to use technology. Yeah. Or you see somebody create a learning system or an app or a dictionary. It's not that we are stupid. We are not a stupid people. But what most people don't understand is that we have to think of this as creating a product. And so we are competing against Disney and Netflix and YouTube.
Culture, yes.
Culture, okay? So we need to produce a high quality product. For us to do that with the limited small resources that we have, we need to focus very, very narrowly on a very small group of customers that we can build a successful, high quality product for. So I've put this together. I've spoken to some of you about this. And so let me look at the top row first, right? So there's four customer segments that I have identified. There are teachers, and I would, even though some of us, like I don't really teach, Lara doesn't teach, some of us are not certified teachers, Surad says she's not a teacher. We're all teachers. In this example, we're all teachers because we want other people to learn the language. So there's teachers. Then there's this next category that I call urban professionals. These are people who have completed their university studies. They've gone to university. They have a diploma. They work in a city, in a professional job, and they're young. They're somewhere between 25 to 35. And these are people that they have money.
Me, I'm your target audience.
You have money, you have time, you don't have kids, and you have this question, who am I?
Who am I? Exactly.
I'm a Kabar, I'm a Circassian, and so I want to embrace this part of my identity, okay? Then you have these other two segments that we're not going to go after because they're hard. It's very it's very expensive, time consuming, and it's parents of small children and then children, okay? I think you all know I created Little Aslan with my wife. That project cost about $65,000 US dollars. It's a high quality product. It's a high quality product. It's not perfect, but we learned a lot. And what we learned is that for every 1 minute of video production, for high quality video production, it costs about $1,000. Because we wrote the script, we edited the script, we created a storyboard, we hired actors, we hired a film crew, we hired an audio engineer, we hired a cartoon illustrator, we hired an editor. Margot did the voice. We actually have an English version of Little Aslan. It's not publicly available, but all of that cost us a lot of money. So children's programming costs a lot of money to produce at a high level of quality. So for right now, we want to focus on teachers, which are us, and then these urban professionals, which are people who are open-minded, have time, have money, and want to learn Circassian. Right now, we cannot go and say, you should speak, you should speak, you should speak. People do not want to be told what they should do. We want to find people who say to us, can you teach me? This is our core customer group.
Can I have like 2 minutes of that? Since you talk about it, I'm gonna turn on my video, I guess. Yeah, there it is. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit hyped. But anyway, I think that we talk about culture as well, because now as a person who is in the 30s and I have choices, can I go and identify myself with this group of people or this group of people or that group of people? But I'm in the middle somewhere. And I think as a representative of your target audience, I think about it. Where do I spend my money? Because my pocket is one place. It's not, all in all these worlds. And people are ready to pay money for English. No question. This market is so overwhelming almost that it's like almost all professionals, they get jobs because English is the culture, the Western culture. It promotes itself. So it's the head where all these things, they go from. And I think it goes back both ways, because if we create some product that speaks for itself and we see that this is a world level, and it creates the feeling that, oh, this is my culture, and somebody shows me the level of this culture that I felt like that, like this is my level. But inside Russia, that's a very different paradigm, and I think that's very good area for growth. We could, and I'm not even speaking about other, areas where there are many Circassians and young Circassians of my age, with kids, without kids, anyway, the generation. I think for us, it's so important to just develop and find the universal categories for any culture, and I think it's very important to work off that way too, like with ideology, with legends, we're bringing back, because we lack, nobody cared about us. The 90s, we were kids of the 90s, and the culture was just chaotic. It was the beginning of internet era. And we have to keep that in mind, because this is a generation that can also generate demand. Not only people who are ready to learn Circassian just because they're suffering, they want to be part of their family. We also can create a positive demand, that people who are fun, who are interesting, who want to develop, they want to, work on their self-awareness or something, and take that little piece and find the area where it's going to be fun and interesting, and it's going to create this feeling over time that this is part of my culture and I'm proud of it. We have nothing that we are proud of for a long time, I think. As a Russian culture and as a Caucasian culture, we don't have many things that we can be proud of. Mm-hmm. That is relatable to our history. Mm-hmm. Our history is our psychological trauma. Because of the positive or negative, it doesn't matter. It's just the condensity of emotional, energy, whatever. People still go back to that painful time because it has a lot of energy, and that way you can solve problems, traumas in many ways, in positive ways or in negative ways. We have only negative ways nowadays. I think it's very important to create positive ways of solving that problem, taking you from the whole nation, this is a big trauma and nobody cares about us. we have no parents. We are, nationality without parents. We have to mature and become, self-caring. I think it's very important to create this independent commercialized structure that is going to be independent of countries, because this is the new paradigm of the whole world. It's not just the business. It's like a sea where you swim, and there are different, places you could use as they are. But sometimes you can create fluxes. You can create, I think, anyway, my 2 minutes are over. Anyway, what I want to say is, like, it's very important to create the cultural artifacts, something that is high quality and that it makes you proud. I'm part of this. I'm proud of this. I want to invest into this. I want to make it happen. I think that's where we can, find many ways, many people who have this need to invest into something, into their future, in their picture of the future, and that is going to be equivalent to the picture of the past. So that only that way we can overcome this trauma. If we create something that we can be proud of, but that is bigger than us, than the trauma price like value that we have in our soul. This is all psychological stuff. That's why I say that it's very important to create not only language learning courses, but experiences. For my generation, my mindset is all like integrative. And this future generations and the new paradigm, I think, is to have experiences for your soul, for your personality as one person, and to find different levels of yourself. So if we have this Circassian level of yourself, it has to be high quality. That's what I'm saying. It's like we can use the other industries that are already existing and find our own, way to make it happen, to have this, high quality Circassian identify experience. I would say this is a good word for that. I think experience. Адыгэбзэкӏэ упсэлъэфу, уздэгупсысхьэр жыпӏэфу, икӏи пщыгъри, уздэкӏуэри, уздэщыпсори, а псори уи гум илъын хуейщ. Сэращ сэ си гугъэ. Experience, and it's very important for people in this, my target audience, to have experience. Now I don't care about how much money you invest into it. I just look at experiences, the colors that I see. Do they call to me? The designs that they go, do they call to me? So this is I think it's very important to not only the language segment, but the culture segment, like something uniting, something like the background, the actual thing, why you learn language. Yeah. You learn language only when you want to communicate to these people or from these people. I think for me, Kabardian is important because I want to talk, I want to be the voice of the people. Yeah. And there you learn the language of other people when you go into trading. I'm going to learn the language that is going to make me more money. That's what you like. Yeah, the culture.
Our Argor na kosti hanos our structure framework تخبخة أديجابجتا ستن ديجي strategic تخبخة دخويش قصقو غاخ أديجابزا كوديزو فو سما بساشمي our أزينات زرج أرق ديوا زغور نقش أشو سجس أنوش حميد مش حاجة our مر زكاش أنسو خويش مر ما حناش وزي أش أزينات زرج أر يجيبستو أراشي سا يجيبستو شحسو ويبل س غاغرو أنوش يجيبستو يا براوا تخيل غورسي أش سي بيبليوتيك تكم سي جباغم يتو أر ديفيد كريستال أر دونيبسو تسر ولينغفيست قدرش أش أر خجار language death أب جيت مست بزم زبغش أنو خويمة يا بسلنو خويمة شحسو ويبل خنجر خنج حسو ويبل شاش يا دينم شش بسالم بابشة لاتين يجبستو يبل زقرال قنجاقم لاتين قاغسببر فاتيكانت فتشا أو دينمشا عاري جري مبساحة راشي دينم شش آخر جورجين أبقدو مبساحة يفري مست أرمينيان أبقدو مبساحة جويش أبقدو مبساحة راشي يا دينم شش ختن كويش يا قرال أبي بزراش يا بساحة بابش دنمارك أرماسوس أو يزخر زكور قرال ياش ده دي أقم راشي يب أديجا دين زري دي أقم يتنا قرال ده يزخر يديش دي أقم راشي صدق نجار سمي هوا سمي دنساقم حرشت بيزنس اوكي اديجم تق دي اش بصراحه بابشا اديك دونيم صوم ده ماشق ارسق قزغجنوس يجبستو ذا يتانا سمي يتانا يخانرير جله اراشي ديبلم ابديجم ارز ستركتورز يتانا دكتورم خودو da de hlapqem dunay psom de plin khwesh yitana yijibstu azinat zerji arq dewa s naqwa si hanos z daqiqa qazatma ma adre shhasu khur de plima shhasu wish khunchri khun di ash charqam yijri de plinch dunay psom sif ash khurqam da milinish dokh arash sa sif ashar psaltam papsha do dosha weresem psom z milyon arash dokh يتانا محمد زغور قخوت النغا يشعاش ما بتهي خواوا يفاش مخور سريس يفاش مخور ابوديزو بش خوزوش محمد تركيا مصوم مليونيت دوخ اوا مليونيتم جانو زي بروسنت بش اراش جانور سسا اديغش مو ادريخر قنجار جانوش ددي ادشخر اديغت اوا проценти пшараш жи анор саса адигаш зэныкур абышыш мапсалла зэныкур абышыш псаллан хуеш араши Туркием вебкма псори захату шит 200,000 target that the tashahukum customers tashahukum shish yitana wursem yitana harb qaralhum يوردانم شش نغش قبس ساتش ياش يذكر يا حرب باشتح ياش راش يا خاكور سيريم شش آخر زاومش حتى حزرقم زغور مبديجم يحنوما أمريكا شش أرماشش يوروب شش نخب الجائر ضد تركش أبوديزو كوا قواش
هل كلتون دديش أو بزجة يجي أودو ربسشن يا
بس بغاق أو سنساقم يجي لقصة أبديجم أوكي أراشي مدنيب صوم دزريبلنوما سزي غوغمشا مليون دي أش ورسيم شش يتانا 200,000 دي أش تركيم شش أدريخر أبوديزو كود دي أقم مورسيم شش ويبلما أوستمي سجس في أنص داتا دانيا ورسبزتشا دانيا زريسي أقم بتهواوا أو جتفانوس زنقور قهو أوخس مبزا أوخم تهواوا يأدري نقور قهو أوخكم جتفانوس أراشي دوني بسوم زرخور شيبل 700,000 that was a جبانو آر 700,000 بلش مين تسخ دوخ أديخر أراش دا دي target market قشاكو كمشش أراشي أرساسية وانري تخبخش يجري سحزرش ست أزي نازري جو أرقو دي وسحاف نما آخر ويب كما دا دي أش زغورخر قبر دي بسلان خويش زغورخر شابسوغ زغورخر أديغيسش أرا بسوري أديغيش أوستمي أوا زغورخر نخشش زغورخر نخجش ما أدري نخجخر يا بمشوغ يا آدانخر يا أدشخر جاءت وو أديغش أراشي أديغبجش ويبسلان خويش أرخابزش أرخونقم أوستمي أزينات أبيش أبلم شش من زمان زدبسوم يجبستو آخر دونيبسو شنخابزة قاو بداش آخر دوني زبلح قوان خويش آخر يوتيوبم زغور حلمت ياغاش أن خويش آخر experience غاشمشا زغور حلمت زغور يلعون زغور يسن خويش
يزم زلعون ودو
يزم
يجي
لعون خويش يسن خويش أراشي مريكلامر دا دي غواشة داتشن قيتشر مو نخجم جتت ما وو أديغش ويا دشكري أديغبزا مبساتك وري وبساتن خويش خون عاد لجنط ار خونوش أوا أزينات أبي يصبلم يتان أراش يبل بش أجر ما إكرانر ما بديجم أراش ددي قشاكوا نخش نخبة دزخوير آخر جانوش حاوا زغور بوزيتيفنا ريكلاما سخويش أوكي
قصد أبقنو نخ نسبفاسيشن نخ نجبوجسيشن سيادغاغر سيغلغونو أزر داخر وغلغونو فيشا صفون قيلغونوش أيكواتم يقوم يلل ساسي قوقمجة بسومي no it's so hard to explain. Like, I think that some people, they're part of the culture, they're sleeping at the moment. So you can, by creating the cultural background, you can also create the new markets. Create new markets. Yes. Oh my God. I interrupt you all the time. I'm so sorry, everybody.
What's a sip shop?
No, but it was obsession.
Соша. What's a shopsh? What's a uzo la umuguzaba abetihuawa. Arashi, Marash azinat zerjiar. حلمتش عارف قزراتكم أدي جبز مبساطلت أو يشركم جبسسر كونسيبتر داود قبر ديبس زرب سلنر أو سبسيلنش.
Yeah, so these reps بساطلت imagery سي أقل زر لازم الإنجليزي تش ما خبو.
مراش ناق محنش هو زير مراش تشحج مقومر أدي جبز جسر حميد قجور أنا مش حاجة. مست ده دتخنا أديجة دتخنا زجور وأو دي أش دي جوتشا بسوري زاوم قيتشا إتانا زجور خرجات زجور خر دي داشخر يوتشاش دي بزر يوتشاش دي شنخابزر يوتشر نيجاتيفنش أبكود نيجاتيفنا دخويشكم زمانر دي بسوري بوزيتيفنا جوبسسكر خويش أراشي محنا حسوا زجور تقاو بدين خويش مش أجر مو يابري تخب خرجس يسمي يجلا ايكونومي ابكوديزو ثابق قم دي ديجا ينجلبزا يا تركبزا يا حرببزا يا ورسبزا ار كوتش نخلاقش دي بزم نقرا اراشي ست قنجار يجلا يسمي اوكي ناقو دي بلنش ديجم جلا ازينات زرجي ار قديوا زغور خر دي دشخر يا تشاش دي بزر يا تشجر بلا 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 جلا راقم خسر ديجم ار guilt. How do you say guilt?
Trauma.
Trauma rash. Trauma راقم دزخوير. ده دزخوير يبتو نيبسو ده مليونيش دوخ. مبساطلو زمليون دوخ. آخر وشبسلنا وخوي ما أديجبز راش دزربسلنا دزخوير. أو مزمانر ديسري يجبستو كود ماشش قنجار. سسيفاش مخور زشابلا. خنشري شابلا دي شابليت داتشما جيت فنقا مارغورو أبودو يتانا محنا زري أنا قم ددي بزام يجبستو أو سمي أراش دريش حسوغر سجحتشمي سمي كود ثابش بدغتش أنو يجبستو أراشي مبديجم موديل متخبخم مبديجم ويبخم مبديجم ما أدري سيجمنت ما أدري ثوجغخر دنسمة ما أدري ثوجغخر دنسمة خونشر خون سيفاش مخ سمي ددخوينوش أو يجبستو ضد زخوير مش شبر مبديجم أوكي زخوير بوزيتيفنا ريكلامة جت أنر ومو زابا م زمان بتشا ومو زابا م خبار متيخواوا زاوم تيخواوا زيد تبس حنقم عاوز تمي دجت أنر زخوير بوزيتيفنا شحال صوغة زخوير غاشم شو ويسنور أراش
دخا غور
أراشي هجوجس وي كونسيبتر أزينات
أساسي قوم جراش تصفهم بسيا خدش حبسومي باقي أدغي ما أدغي بسومي جستو سي بجو not friends but like the peers سي نبجمنا سات صفحة псори абы йогупсыс. Сэ сыхэт, сэ си псыр дэнэ щыӏэ, псори зэгупсысыр мыстращи, насыпра, си насыпыр дэнэ здэхэлъыр. Абы щхьэкӏэ насыпыгъэра дыздэгупсысэн хуейр. Насып, а псалъэр апхуэдизкӏэ адыгэбзэм щӏыхэтыр аращ. Насыпыгъэ, зыри ахъшэ уимыӏэми, зымыхъуми, а бзу цӏыкӏум уеплъым насыпу уиӏэу.
Yeah. So we need to wrap it up because we're spending too much time on this. But the bottom line is we need to focus on teachers and these urban professionals, and what we need to produce is a method to teach this language and materials for students to learn this language. And then we need to make sure that we have technology, administration, and marketing and support so that we can support these two customer segments. We need to make sure that we are supporting and training the teachers. We are giving them technology. We are giving them administration support. We are giving them marketing support to find students. And we need to make sure that students feel comfortable that we have a high quality product that you start here and you end here and you will be able to speak very well. So that's the product that we need to create. And in terms of, so that's what this thing will become. Right now, I'm going to do this through my NASIP Foundation that I have in the United States, mostly because we have a special tax status in the United States, which means that Google will give us all of their technology for free. So all the technology that Tamer uses in the public schools in the United States, we have all of these Google technologies for free. And so this helps us to keep our costs down and to have high quality tools. The other thing that we need to do is to build like open source, right? And by open source, what I mean is we should make everything available so that everybody can use these tools the way that they want to use them. So the ideas here is that we would be decentralized. We're not in any one area. And the reason for that is then nobody can stop us. If we're here or here or here, somebody can say, I don't like that, I'm going to stop it. So we're decentralized. There's no one place that we can get stopped. Open source, anybody, not right now, but once we start going, anybody anywhere in the world can get everything that we have and use it, change it, make it better, use it however that they want. Distributed, which means that eventually this will not be one computer where everything is stored. Because if it's one computer where everything is stored and somebody attacks that one computer, we're all gone. And it's not a school, right? It's not a school. It's a learning platform. It's technology that helps people, like Azinat said, to engage in the language, engage in the culture, find a community, zilla. So it's all of those things. And it's not just to learn a language, but to engage with with our culture. So
to practice, maybe some communities where people could just practice together from different countries.
Example, yes, it's a community. I use this example a lot. It's that the way that most people are teaching not just Circassian, but most languages right now, it would be like if we want to learn how to ride a bicycle, if they say, okay, Miss учебник, Miss, here's a textbook, Miss учебник, физикамча, итана механикамча, псори, заргашанш, итана ثقرغاجر ديبلنوس. أراقم داو بزخر زبغاش أنور. ثقرغاجم تيتسن كويس، زبغاشما زي وشنقم. So that's what we need for our language. We need it to, for our culture, for our language, we need to be able to experience it. So the key part now is methods and materials. This is the two ingredients to make our product. So what method are we going to use? The method that I would like us to use is called TPRS. TPRS. I'll explain this in just a minute. But it's important to understand the research of the history of linguistic methodology in Western Europe and the United States. A long time ago, it was, let's teach grammar. And this is how many of the textbooks in Nalchik are done. I have every textbook in Nalchik here behind me, and they spend so much time on grammar. It's boring, and the research shows this does not work. So then in the 1970s, 1980s, there was this approach called communicative approach. So it was about speaking more. And then there was a professor named Dr. Stephen Krashen who said that the research shows that we learn language. We don't learn languages, we acquire. And this happens when we get lots of information that we understand. And then Paul Nation came after him and said, this is partially true. We must get lots of information in our eyes and in our ears, but we must speak and we must write. So we must speak, write, listen, read. Okay, aras. And then there was finally, just in the last 10 years, there was finally a final guy who came and said, we can do all of these through stories, through stories. And this is the method that I would like us to use. 1 month ago, there was the guy professor who made this method. He came to Chicago. I paid money to go to his workshop. And in 1 hour, he taught me Portuguese. It's now been 1 month. 1 month. And I can say, eu soy un menino en Chicago, na Illinois.
Ich bin Jungen, the one that you taught me, like some phrases. Yeah, anyway.
I learned Portuguese in 1 hour. When I showed this method to Azinat, say again in German what you just said.
Well, now I'm nervous. Okay, ich bin. You said Jungen, but it's a boy. I'm a boy. It says that.
Ich bin kein Jungen. Ich bin kein Jungen.
Ja, ich bin keine Jungen. Ich bin Mädchen. Mädchen. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just because of the methodology, I remembered the connection with you and like a personal connection, and then I remembered the discussion that we had. So that way, within that simple discussion, like a regular dialogue, you kind of put little pieces of information into my mind. Yep. That was very easy to take. And that's why it was natural. It's just like memories. You just embedded that information into my memories. That's how it probably works in the neurological way.
Azinat and I, we spoke for not even 10 minutes, and she learned German. So this method,
like three phrases, maybe.
3 phrases, but still, this method, and what's nice, what I love about this method is there's no study, there's no homework, there's no drills. You show up for your lesson, you do your lesson, you leave, it's in your brain. It's in your brain. So this is the method that I would propose that we use. The method, and I would suggest this is the Common European Reference Framework. Okay, this is from CEFR from Europe. This is a measure of fluency. They have 6 levels: A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. C2 is native. A1 is just starting. We should be targeting B1, B2. B1, B2 is where the person has about 4,000 words of vocabulary. They can speak with native speakers, but they may not have all the grammar or all of the vocabulary necessary to read all of a movie, all of a book, or all of a movie. But Circassian is such a small language that 4,000 words is probably a lot. It's probably more. 4,000 words in Circassian is more useful than 4,000 words in English or in Russian or in Turkish. So this is where we should be, the goal should be. And my approach would be that we would adopt the TPRS methods. And this is what the first chapter would look like. And some of you have seen this, some of you haven't. So I'm just going to go through this real quick and then I'll stop talking. So I'm still adapting this. Originally, this was in Spanish. We have the full support and the legal license from the people who made the original materials to do this, right? But the way that this starts off is this is the way the method works. Every page has these question words on it, right? And this is created for English speakers, obviously. And so this is how we start telling stories, right? So we say, Mirs alles, s'aler askiers. And of course, this is for somebody who knows nothing about Circassian. They know nothing about Circassian. And so the way that the method works is I'm first going to go around and ask everybody yes or no questions. Mir s'ala, mir khajabs, hawa. Askir khajabs, hawa. Askir s'ala, So we're going to go through this, and then we can start having a conversation. Sari s'alas, s'alas, right? I have this down here. Wawa khajabs, chat s'aler, chat khajabs, sit askir s'alas. So we can start to have meaningful interaction, and this is what I did with Azinat with German, and she still remembers, I am not a boy, s'alakum, awastami s'khajabs. I am not a boy, I am a girl. That's what she still remembers from German, and this is 2 weeks ago. So this method works. The way that this whole method works is all the content focuses on these 5 question words, right? And it focuses on a very small number of verbs, and we go very slowly. But there's a story here. So, mirs alash alar askers ar nalchik sha'as. And this is where we need to be careful about how we adapt this. We can say in Kabardian, in Circassian, we can say nalchik des, nalchik des, nalchik shopso. So we need to make sure that we're keeping things simple, but that it also sounds natural and proper in terms of Circassian. And then we keep going. Now we should probably make this problem ye'as. Why? Because the verb that we're going to keep using in these examples is ye'en, ye'en, ye'en. And problem, Adiga people use this word, and we want to minimize the new vocabulary that we're learning because we want to maximize the understanding of the story. One of the reasons that this works is when people are trying to learn something, they get very scared, they get very anxious. If we make sure that they learn the story, then they're using the language on top of the story. It becomes very easy for them. Okay, I know who is Oscar. I know he has a problem. I just now need to put these words together to tell the story. And when they do that, it makes their brain work in a way that they acquire this information and they do not forget it. So I need to clean this up. I'm still making it. And now we're using another common word, Coca-Cola. It's not, we don't have to say maxima, we don't have to say she, we don't have to say coffee. It's another word that everybody knows. And we're now, I need to change this. Askir problema ye'as. Askir Coca-Cola zri ye'aqam. So now we're teaching grammar because we teach you how to say he has something, he does not have something. And then here we could say sasi as, wa wi as, abi ye'as. Sazri si aqam, wazri wi aqam. We can go through and each lesson is usually 1 or 2 pages, but there's a lot of, it's a very interesting method because we can make fun in the story. We can say, I have a Coca-Cola, you have a Coca-Cola. My Coca-Cola is blue, your Coca-Cola is green. I have a small Coca-Cola, he has a big Coca-Cola. Where is the Coca-Cola? We don't know where is the Coca-Cola, right? He wants a Coca-Cola, so he's sad, so he's going to go to Maikwap to get a Coca-Cola. So now we have the verb ye'en, and now we have the verb kwano. But now we're teaching you, it's not, we don't say asker kwanos, we say we could say kwano, but right now, mizamaner yitur maqwa. So we're learning the grammar, but we're learning it through the story. And then we see down here, sasokwa, wawokwa, armakwa, right?
I have a question for you. Are you adapting it just for yourself, or is it like something that is going to be close to the final product? Just little tips. The maps, for example, I look at the map and it divides Circassians in my mind, like as a culture.
Yep.
I would rather use the geographical map. The mountains and everything. Mayqapa is here, the sea is here, Kabardinka is there.
Yep.
So that way
this
you can...
is just rough. Yeah, this is just rough, Azina.
Yeah, just right. a little tip. Yeah, just an observation from that part.
But then in this story, right, this sounds very simple, but this is actually a lot of new information for somebody who speaks zero Circassian. So now, look, we're just a few pages into the story, and we can say, Mirchet, mir askers. Askerchet, askers alas. Asker dena makwa. Asker miakwap makwa. Sich hacha abikwara probleme yeash. Sit abi problemer Coca-Cola yeakam. Ziri yeakam. Tab hoda problemer year Coca-Cola huesh. So other than these two words, we can play in the story. The goal is not to read what's on the page. The goal is to create a story, and we can play inside that story, and we can add a few extra words. But this is how people are going to start to acquire the language. Okay. Now, we might just simplify this and say jri'as. Miakwapim she'achajebzim abiqjri jash. Asker yijagwash. Asker Coca-Cola ziriyakam. So now we're consolidating what we've learned. Asker Coca-Cola ziriyakam awa Coca-Cola huish. Asker shirjesim makwa. Shirjesim Coca-Cola sha'ash. Shalim Coca-Cola qashtash. Asker kwadu magufa Coca-Cola ziri iqamja. So this is another example. We need to simplify this because the verb here is ya'an. But now, we need to simplify this so that we don't bring so much complexity of grammar in, but that it is still sounding natural. And then we end the story. So if we go through this, this is probably, I don't know. I don't know how many lessons it would take to go through all of this. But once we're done, the student will not have to do any studies. They will not have to do any learning. They will not have to do any homework. They will know all of this vocabulary, and they will be able to say that they're a boy or a girl. They want something. They need something. They have something. They do not have something. They're going someplace. They want to go someplace. Why they want to go someplace. This is very useful, and it can get people speaking our language very, very quickly. So there's a lot of work to be done after this, but my suggestion is that we use this as the starting point because there's a whole team of people who built these materials. There's a whole team of people who built these materials, and we can use their work to produce a high quality product. The other thing is that I think this is probably not even 1% of the materials. The people who made these materials, who gave us permission, they said that when they did this for Arabic, they're doing this for Arabic right now. First, they translated everything, and then they used it. And what they found is that this is bad, because translation is bad. It cannot be translated. It must be adapted, because we have certain culture, we have certain grammar. And the other thing is, it's the best is to to adapt one piece and then use it with students, and then come back and update it. Because students may have trouble, they may have questions, they may have problems. We can use that experience with the students to make the materials better. So,
and also I would also add that the format, the media format is also very important, because reading has become more and more archaic now, because the flux of information is so high. We see pictures, we see videos, we are into this culture, and that's why I think it's going to be like a future step, maybe to also адыгэбзэкӏэ схузэфӏэкӏын жесӏэнщ. Сэ си гугъэмкӏэ цӏыхур нэхъ щӏалэу щытхьэращ иджы дэ едгъэсэну адыгэбзэкӏэ псалъэу. Нэхъ пщӏалэу щытхьэр здыхэтыр нэгъуэщӏ зонэщ. Еджэ мэуэду. Йоплъ, зыгуэрым йоплъ, сурэтым йоплъ, мыстым йодаӏуэ, видеом йоплъ. Ар нэхъ зыгуэру нэхъ ауэ метод уздэпсэлъыхьэр, ар сэ си гугъэмкӏэ мисабы епхащ. Абы къикӏыурэ дэ ди щхьэкуцӏыр зэлажьэм теухуауэ а методыр хъарзыну щытщ. Иджы мис а методыр хъарзыну иджыри сурэт щӏыпӏэхьэм тхуилъхьэну щытым, тыншу ахъшэ куэд тедмыгъэкӏуадэу. Мис ар лъэщу хъунут. Иджы ар зэрытхуэдну ахъшэ куэдыр тедмыгъэкӏуадэу сэ дэуэду сызэригугъэр. Мис а little group of people жыхуэпӏар. Мис абыхьэм ягъусэу делажьэм а видео птхыхьэр, мис абы щыгъуэ а видеохьэр материал уэдууи хъунущ, къэбгъэсэбэп. Абы иужькӏи цӏыхухьэр хэту, псори зыхэту. Сэ демонстрацие экраныр узэптыфыну.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like there are different platforms nowadays. I'm just gonna demonstrate what you can have on your computer for any person. Like, no, it doesn't let me demonstrare ekrana для участников.
Azina, I'm sorry. What I want to say, you and I have spoken a lot.
Yeah.
I want to give other people a chance to speak. And I also want to say there are many examples, but I would like us to use this one only because it's proven to work. They're using this right now to teach Portuguese, Arabic, German, French, Italian, and Spanish. And there's a whole team that is making these better. So instead of us going and creating something from scratch, we can benefit from a larger team that's already using these materials and making them better every single day.
Yeah, this is just clearly my own ideas that maybe I will create something like that, like a new material in my own, like as just as a little branch. Because I spend a lot of time, if I can demonstrate the screen, I spend a lot of time. Well, anyway, maybe let's listen to everybody else before I think it's too overwhelming, too much information.
So I told the story. I'm not going to spend that much time telling it again in the future, but it's important that this is, I'm not saying let's do this. I'm saying this is my idea. Now that I've shared my idea, I would very much like to hear what other people think and how we can brainstorm to make this idea better. Tamer, Lara, Mahmet, Suad, Zagorjov Anfwe.
Daruda, it's a great idea. I have a question about what about learning the letters? So in Turkey, they know Latin. I'm now trying to learn some Turkish. It's easy for me because I know English. So learning the letter, it's easy for me. But someone from Turkey learning the
Cyrillic.
yes, it's we need also to make some stuff, some product for easy learning the letters. About if we need some images to put in our product, I have license. There's a good site, FreePic. I have license and I'm using all my images from there. So is there, do we have all the, for example, all the lessons from the Spanish? So we have all the product, but we need to change them and work on them to make them apply for the Circassian language.
Yes.
For example, changing some pictures, all the materials. We don't need to begin from the zero.
No.
Okay.
So
it will be easy for us.
So I'm trying to log into my account with them and I cannot right now. We have many lessons like this. We also have more stories that the students can read when they want. And then most importantly, we also have teacher guides. So the guide will actually say to the teacher, in this lesson, we want to teach students how to go, how to come, how to ask for help. It has the guides for us. We have all of these materials. I did ask the teachers. They have very limited experience with Arabic, but they have a lot of experience with Chinese. And their view is that we should not, and we can do what we want, but their suggestion is that we should not spend time teaching the alphabet. We should have a very quick summary of the alphabet, and then we should just use these words. Because when you see dawa and dana and sala and askir, when you see these words over and over again, if you learn the alphabet letter by letter, it doesn't mean anything. Sa, 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 kha, kha. It doesn't mean anything. But when you learn the letters through these words, and the words go into your head, the letters will automatically come into your head. That's what their suggestion is.
Yes, we need a quick lesson, maybe one lesson or two to because, for example, if you learn a Turkish and there is a lot of letters, you need to learn how to say them.
Mm-hmm.
For example,
Pronunciation.
I don't know. For example, in Turkish, to say they're not familiar with these sounds.
So this is what's nice. We can take, I have, let me answer that question. Give me one moment, please. I'm going to share my screen right now. We can combine their materials however we want. I have a very quick way of teaching the alphabet. What I do is I simplify it. I say, look, we have bash, we have this, we have that. So I simplify it, and then I say, this is the first group. It looks like English, it sounds like English. A, K, M, O, S, T. Then the second group looks like English, sounds different. V, Y, N, R, U, H. The third group sounds like English, looks different. And then the last group, it needs 2 letters in English to make it. So I've been able to teach people the alphabet in 15 minutes using this method. And I have this material. I also have, let me show you another one here. I have lots of materials that we can use, that we can bring into this. So these are nicer maps of the region.
Yes, these ones are, they have more emotional, I think, quality that people would look at. Oh, this is something that I want. This is something that I want.
Yep.
I think many people, they don't, now we can find, I think, personally, I think we all have different perspectives. So this is my perspective right now. I want to find people who are not even going to learn this language, but just because it's fun, it's interesting, I can teach them. I think about the VR world where I spend a lot of time there. Like I have weekly events for 5 months, and people just come. Yesterday I had my events, like we talk about philosophy and different things with people from different countries. They wanted to ask me, like, how do you say this in Russian? How do you say that in Russian? Just because I kept saying that I'm from Russia, the fact.
I just need to get us back to the alphabet, Azina. Hang on.
Do it.
I need to get back. So again, we have lots of materials that we can use. So we can just copy this and drop it right into that other presentation. But it's, it's nice, it's high quality, and it takes the whole alphabet and it puts it on one page. And there's just some rules that you need to learn down here. And then I go through, this is my material. I own the
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. So we can, if we want to, we can practice all the phonetics of the alphabet, right? All these materials we can bring in. We also have, if we decide, for example, that we want to change some of the dialogues that we have in those presentations, I have lots of dialogues and other materials we can bring in. So there's nothing that stops us. Any idea that we have material that we can use to make these other materials better.
Okay.
Amer, Larissa.
So real quick, John T. And everyone, I think everything that we talked about here today is really good. My thought is, what I think is going to be critical for us to do is to establish some credibility across the international nation, if you will. And what I mean by that is, who are we to just come and say, this is the best way to learn language? I think, and to your point too, there is a lot of content out there, a lot of low quality content. I think one of the things we want to keep in mind is making sure that our end product doesn't get lost in the sea of low quality content that's out there. I think those are 2 critical things that we need to keep in mind as well as we build this.
Credibility to what? Is it like a brand or a name or a concept? Like,
well, my thought is, like, if you go on YouTube and type in, how to learn Circassian,
yeah.
what
Let me do that right now.
judgment factor do I use to decide this content creator is better than this one? That this person is teaching me correctly, and in some cases, people aren't doing this intentionally, but they might not be teaching something entirely correctly or to the same standards that we may have for this program.
So Tamer zrjiar Hamid مؤخر دش أزمة زجورجا أناش ففخت دنا ما ميتودم قيتشا ففخت تحا ديف أش خنر فأبوديزو في أول الجنر سيف أش خرق مر لجنر أبوديجا أناش أراشي أبش حتش أسجواب سي أش بتيخواوا دبسوري يرجعكم خدو دلاجة أراشي محمد زجورخر يتصخ حميدري سعادري لرسرة أزينات رسرة وريتهم تامر دري دبسوري زجورخر تتصخ ياف أش خنر يا بش who trust us بشقد خواشر no yeah بشقد خواشر أراشي أراش ددي يابري قشخاك وخر تقاو بدنو دزخوير سج حجمي آخر جانوش سسوتخ حميد سسوتخ لارا سسوتخ سعاد أراشي دتخن ز ددي جوبم بششر تخويتخ تقاشتما تخ ست تخ شاد دي أنوش. And that's how we're going to slowly be. It's not going to be from advertising. We have to slowly grab one person at a time and let that person learn Circassian. And then they will go to their friends and say, I'm learning, and it's fast, and it's easy, and it's fun. And then they will bring friends, and they will bring friends, and they will be friends. That's, like Azinat was saying, how we're going to build this community.
Yep. Nesting dolls. I always say that the Matryoshka's principle is the best one. Create one little thing, use it. While you use it, sometimes it's even a good point where you gather information. So record the meetings, talk to people, videotape them, create one source where you can watch people learning in the process. It's for us, it's useful information as researchers and just as a team. But I think this is one of the sources where you could use it if it looks nice, just take pieces out and promote it as it is. Like, oh, look, this is just fun. People like to join some places that are just fun. Some people are going just to watch for the first period, like just the team is, growing and something is going on. Some little group of people started learning, Circassian based on this technology. Sometimes it's just fun to watch the story, if it works or not. Once it starts having first successes and you've seen that success, you start thinking, wow, I think I trust these people. And you start telling about these people to everybody else. This is networking. That's how it works in everyday life for every business.
Well, I think we still need someone who is a real professional in the field of teaching English. I mean, Kabadian. And maybe there would be someone from the university or from the Institute of Science. They have a special institute here in Nalchik. Maybe someone, at least one person, to
was it an expert
further in the long run to show that we have professionals in the team. Because I'm an amateur, I can't be a reliable person, and still we need someone to check what we do. I mean, the spelling, some specific grammar points. So I think we still need someone to consult in some questions. There will be some issues because Kabadian is very complicated.
I know, but I think issues always happen. And the problem is that to my personal opinion, it's like the approach that you take. You either wait until you're perfect and then start doing something, or you start today, make mistakes. People are going to complain about it. They're going to, tell you what's wrong, the clients and the other professionals, and you filter out what's useful, get an update and, change some pieces and continue going. I think this is like a growth project is going to be also a good idea. just to, start with something. As it grows, people like to watch stuff like the storytelling. They just want to see what's going on. And as a business project, maybe as a language project, maybe, or a cultural project, or just, people like to watch stuff growing. And good people, they're going to positively share this idea. People who see bad things, they will always be here. Come on, this is Caucasus, and we see that every day. However perfect you are, some people will come and say that, oh, you're too dirty, or your floors are, too dusty. That's why I'm not going to respect you, or something. It happens all the time. We shouldn't let that stop us. We should create, I think, the progress, the concept that something is changing. You can watch that. You see the successes. The idea is the жилдерашм. За жилдер харзну абы хэплъхьэщтым, сэ си гугъэмкӏэ жанти жилдэ дахэӏиу хилъхьащ абы. Иджым са жилдем хэпсу уеплъ хъунущ, аткӏэ къызэрыкӏым. А къызэрыкӏым теухуауэ зыгуэртӏэкӏурэ пщӏым мобдепщӏэм цӏыхухэм уеплъым, абы ягурихьэрэ зыгуэр къоплъхьэми ахъшэ зыгуэри къыпхухадзэн, е езыхьэм зыгуэркӏэ къывдэӏэпыкъун, е нэгъуэщӏхьэм жраӏэн, еплъыт мис мода проджект лъэщ гуэр щыӏэщ. Адыгэбзэ зрагъащӏэу, е моду ящу, е аустми даху, сытым, е зыгуэр иращӏу. Цӏыхум ящӏэну я хьэлэмэтщ, ящӏэну яхуейщ. We can exploit that.
Yeah,
Caucasian people, I think we all like to watch.
I just want to add to that. Lara, I'm reluctant, I'm hesitant to bring in anybody else for a couple of reasons. For me, it's everyone here knows each other at least a little bit, and it's more important to me that we have trust and open communication than that we have expertise, right? So that's one reason.
Because we grow together.
The second reason is that I've dealt with every expert I can find in Nalchik, and they always say, maybe we should find somebody else who's better expert than me.
Yes.
So
I'm not a professional. Nobody's professional here because this culture.
It's for two reasons. Number one, our language is in such a low place that no one feels 100% comfortable. And the other reason is Circassians love to criticize other Circassians and say, you have one mistake on page 4,000.
Yeah,
it's because they're unhappy.
Yeah.
But
I will say that. Can't you read 4,000 to find my one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
That's I'm great.
But if we build this community of people who like us and trust us, it's okay if we make mistakes because
they're going to be trusting us. The trust.
Not only that,
atmosphere.
I promise you, I make mistakes in English every day. I know everyone who speaks Russian or Hebrew or Turkish, they make mistakes that's what language is.
I'm a native speaker and I can't speak Kabardian. I feel comfortable speaking English much more than I speak Kabardian right now because of the exposure to the culture. I don't feel like the culture is very interesting. That's why,
we need to give other people chances to talk, Azina. And then the third reason for this is if you look at businesses, when Google first came out, who was Google? It's two guys who dropped out of university. They quit university. These are losers. Microsoft or Yahoo, these are the big brands. But Google said, we are two guys, we trust each other, we're going to keep making this better. And now look, they're the number one. And then the last reason is my fear is that we need open minds. It's very hard to find open minds in Homeland. And we're going to find people who are going to try to make us produce some of these textbooks. I have all of these books. They're useless. They're useless.
Boring. They're boring. Number one question. It's boring. Nobody wants to learn some dead language of some dead nation, dead culture. People want something fun. If you don't have this fun, create this fun. I think this is very important to know that if we have this little group, maybe it's a good start because I enjoy having like 7 other people and I'm like, they all look different. They're all different ages, but I still feel comfortable speaking here because I think that people respect me and I trust Janti. I know Larissa. I know Mehmet. I helped Mehmet with his some travelings and stuff. I consider like 3 or 4 people my friends, and like the rest, that's why I feel comfortable that this is an area where I can speak my, you know, my thoughts and like share some ideas. That's where you create stuff. This is not just like, you know, criticizing. Criticizing happens when something is created already. But those people who, and in Caucasus, I think the resources are very negative now. People don't want to create. They are unhappy. That's why they want others to be unhappy too. So there's a very important mission, I think, behind all these language courses and everything, to show that you can live on your homeland, be happy, be identified with your personality, with your nation, with your language, feel comfortable, feel unthreatened, and feel procreative, that you should create something and find others who are going to create that. When this system actually works well, because if you, it filters out the personalities who's not going to be a growth personality. So that way they just like, you know, filter out, and we lose people who are going to be only criticizing and not being engaged.
So, but time out. Let's stop beating up Lara.
Yeah,
I want to give
it's time
her,
for jaunty jokes.
No, I want her to have a chance to respond to what we said, and then I also want to see what Mehmet and what Hamid think as well.
You're a great host.
What do you think, Lara? Does the
Yeah, I see your point, but I'm judging from my own perspective, and I feel a bit insecure as I don't know much about Kabaddi and about teaching, about some specific aspects, and as I haven't seen the materials that we are going to make, it's a bit obscure, and I'm a bit afraid. That's, I think, quite natural, and I'm not very quite sure that I'll be able to do something of high quality. And that's why I thought about some professional, but you're quite right that it will be a real challenge to find someone who is open here, at least here in Nalchik.
I think that's part of the problem. That's part. And if you think about it, these are state institutions. The education, it has serious problems in Russia, I think. And secondly, from Russian perspective, if you think about it, the Caucasus is a problematic region, and we feed them money just to shut them up.
So,
and if they find more, so I think this is, we should create something positive.
So there's a reason. So what Azinat said, there's a reason that people in Nalchik go to private institutes like Azinat's to learn English, and they don't trust the government schools, and it's because the quality is different, right? But I hear what you're saying, Lara, and what I would say is the concern is that we need to produce something high quality, and to produce something high quality, it should have no mistakes. And for it to have no mistakes, there should be an expert that we can turn to, right? What I would say is that between you and me and Hamid and Azinat and even Tamer, he doesn't read or write, but Tamer actually makes mistakes in English because he thinks in Kabardian. He was raised by our grandmother and his mother and his father. They only spoke Kabardian in the house. I believe that, and Mehmet too, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 plus Lydia. It's only poor Suad who's going to be left all by herself. There are 7 or 8 Kabardian speakers with very different experiences. I'm pretty sure that we can all collectively find mistakes and have a very high level of quality. And if
collective minds,
and if we run into a situation where there's some, and by the way, these are all basic materials. We're not getting into like Zawur Nalo. We're not getting into Pasha Mirza. We're getting into Mus'alir Maykwapa Makwa. I mean, this is basic stuff. if we can't do this, then shame on us, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's just, yeah, you are going to learn as you go. Oh, let's correct this one. Oh, I think it's this one is gonna be better. Who's gonna do that? Oh, I have more free time this week. I don't have free time this week.
But
Don't talk to me. So yeah, I think it could be collectively, it's going to be easier to create a growing project that is going to be high quality at the end too.
But the issue that I hear from Larissa is quality and credibility. Correct?
Yeah, from Tamer. Tamer, credibility was from Tamer.
Yeah. So what I want to say is, we all want that. Let's make sure that we have the quality and the credibility. And if, as we go, I'm hesitant to bring more people, but as we go, if we run into a problem, we can find out. It's faster and easier for you to ask 3 friends and me to ask 3 friends. Is this correct or is this correct? But if we really need to find an expert, then we can have that conversation in the future. Is that fair?
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Are there any other ideas or opinions or questions or concerns that you have?
I really quickly want to say thank you to you personally, as a person to person, that this is so cool that you created this space, that you created this ideas. You're a real visionary, and I respect that a lot, because it inspires me to be a visionary too, and to believe that I can do that. I'm not only in my little house and nobody cares about me and my culture and everything. I can believe that this is something bigger and I should help it grow, because if you don't help it grow, who's going to help? We have no father. We have, a government that doesn't want to help us. It's not interested to help us.
Thank you. Thank you. So Larissa, anything else that you would like to add before we go and make sure everyone else speaks?
No, for now, yeah, that's everything that I wanted to ask. And one more thing, maybe, which way does this method go? Is it centered around some specific topics, or some specific verbs, or some grammar points? What way does it go?
So I was able, it's a good question. I was able to log into their
Restroom
system.
break.
Okay.
And so first of all, you can see they have slides, right? So, and every slide has the past tense and the present tense. So zaman yitr, zaman blatcha, and then there's a small story. So this is really 1, 2, 3, 1. There's one. So this is section 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6. So there's lots of materials that they have, right? This is the German version. I chose the German because I speak German, and also Lydia speaks German, right? So we can still keep going through all these different stories. And then, they also have teacher's guides. So this is the teacher guide for us to teach each of those lessons. And then they also have story texts for each of the students that if they want, they can read this after the story's done to be able to keep practicing, right? So there's lots of materials. I have not gone through all of them. One of the first things that I would like to do is to share all of these materials with this whole group. I need to take them out of this portal and bring them into our Google share drive so that all of you guys can see them. But this is another reason why English is the working language, because if you look at the guides are all in English. So eventually what we want to do is translate these English guides into Circassian, Western Circassian and Eastern Circassian, so that as we start to train teachers, we actually give them all the materials, all the training necessary to be successful. Mehmet, what do you think about everything that we're talking about?
Yes, now I want to ask, it will be a application, mobile application, or website, the lessons, or the lessons will be online, face-to-face?
The lessons will be online, face-to-face.
Okay.
And there's 2 reasons for that. One, that's how these materials are built, but we will use the Google platform to be able to create online video classrooms. That's number 1. Number 2, I believe I have mobile app that teaches 20 languages. We have almost 30,000 subscribers, and people they believe there's higher value when there's a teacher. And especially in Russia and in Turkey, people will pay more money when there's a teacher. If it's an app, they'll steal it or they'll say it doesn't work. But if it's a teacher, they'll spend the time, they'll spend the money. And also, if we are the ones who are teaching, we can see what's working and what's not working so we can make the product better. It is possible that in the future we could turn this into something that doesn't require a teacher, but because we're building the method and we're building the materials in real time, we need to get feedback from students so we can make corrections and make the product better.
Mm-hmm. Because those students are your clients, and that's why I think it's important to start today. With any language, that's the main point. Don't read million books, just start practicing with these little simple things that you have. I teach that in English, and people keep coming back to me because I give them simple tools and they feel comfortable with me personally. That helps a lot because, let me turn on the video again. A lot of teaching actually is due to the teacher. So because of the connection, the real connection that they have, but it doesn't have to be, one-on-one. It doesn't have to be just like one video call or something. Over time, if you use this, for video call with that one person, but because it's our project, we can use the recordings later for the course, let's say.
Yeah.
And if I explain it to a real person, I'm going to be more passionate. I'm going to be more, if you speak about English, because I teach English, that's my main idea. And I'm not sure if I can switch to Russian or switch to Kabardian, but this is the point that I'm going to take with me after this meeting. I have this VR stuff, and people yesterday asked me about Russian. So maybe I'm just gonna go ahead and start to teach Russian, although I don't know anything. So maybe you could give me some recommendations or some materials I could use in this method. So I could try this method on absolutely, random selection of people. They're from mostly the VR communities, anyway.
So go ahead.
Another question. This is like an investment, and we need a budget, I guess. And you pay money for buying license. Where will we find the money in the first step? Maybe after we will take money from the students, perhaps. I don't know what. In the first step, what we will do?
Yeah. So right now, I'm fine to fund this. So I can pay the money. I'm not worried about that. This is not very expensive for me right now. And I think that we probably have, in my opinion, we have 1 year. The first year is where we will create the platform. We have it. It's from Google. We will create the platform. We will all do something. Maybe some of us will teach. Maybe some of us will translate. Maybe some of us will do something else. But we will all do something. And for the first year, we will work for free, all of us, to adapt these materials. And I think that what we will do is, as we teach, we will record our classes so we can show them on the internet for people to feel that this is high quality. But we should also watch each other's classes because we all need to learn this teaching method. This teaching method is very strange. It's almost like you are in a play. Piesia? По-русски? Piesia. How do you say play?
Piesa.
Piesa. It's almost like you're in piesa, like in a play. And so there is some strange feelings that we will have to get comfortable. So we need to train each other. We need to watch the videos of the students, and we need to see how to make it better. Once we get into the second year, then, in my opinion, we can start to charge money because we have credibility. We have lots of people who say that this works. And I have some ideas on how that can work in the future, but I think that it's like beta. Like if we had a product, right now we need to beta test the product and give it away for free so we can make it strong and make it good. And then once we feel that it's no longer beta testing, we can start asking money.
Okay, thank you.
That's exactly the world. Actually, that's the world. I think plan that is used for any businesses today.
Yeah.
Create little products like a little matryoshka. I always say the nesting dolls principle, matryoshkas. For businesses, for myself anyway.
Yeah.
So you create something small and like something that is not going to be very valuable. It's like your 2 hours of your time or something like. Then start thinking of it as a product, and you start thinking, okay, I have this product, and maybe I can start, gathering materials. Maybe I'm gonna show it to somebody and ask them to give me some, feedback, or maybe I'm gonna tape a video or like of our lesson and something. I do that with my page right now on Instagram. I'm trying to think of the strategies, you have a good product, how to promote it. It's always the same story. Like you have something that is good quality, good seed, then you start thinking of it as a product, and then you kind of give it to have little connections and gather information, spread the information about itself into the environment, and gather information from the environment, like what we should change. And then once you feel comfortable in that, and groove.
I still want to see if Mehmet has any other. I'm sorry, Azinat, but I want to make sure everyone has a chance to speak. We're almost going into our second hour. So I want to make sure that Mehmet still has, if he has any questions, and if Suad, she spoke only a little bit, so I want to make sure if Suad has any questions, and then I want to make sure Hamid if he has any questions as well. So Mehmet, is there anything else?
No, I am okay now.
Okay. Suad, we spoke only briefly. Was there anything else? I'm not sure that we gave you the full chance. Was there anything else you wanted to add to the questions or the comments?
Is there there's in German, you said? Is there in Hebrew, in Turkish, in
Arabic?
Arabic? It's bad.
Does not exist. But
is there English and English?
There's no English in English. But you know what? It's okay. It's actually okay, because even let me share this again. Even the ones that are in
if it's in Kabardian, it's okay for me. I can start.
Yeah, Radniki Elbrus. Somebody sold this idea to me. Yeah, I bought this book. Anything, because it's part of the culture.
So even though they're
I can copy paste to Google Translate.
Well, no, here. So
Janti, can I say something?
Yes,
Janti.
Mm-hmm.
My battery is going off, and I'm in car, and I have no car charger.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have to leave, but I'm waiting your recording link.
Okay.
I will watch later. Okay.
Okay. Inshallah.
Görüşürüz. Happy Eid to all of my friends. Görüşürüz. Goodbye. Uzun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
And I instantly start remembering, what do I know in Turkish? Just because I know that Mehmet is from Turkey. He speaks Kabardian, but I think I want to train my Turkish too. Maybe I can, constantly practicing it. That's part of the language learning.
So
it's not a ready product.
Azina, I love you, but I need you to give other people a time to talk.
I need some. Yeah, it's good that you're here to stop me.
So they only had a couple of languages available. I speak German almost as good as Kabardian, and Lydia teaches German. But you guys, even if you don't speak German, all of the English is here.
Right? Okay.
So there could be no German here, but because the English is here, this is what we can use to create Kabardian as well as Adivean or Shapsugh, whichever dialect you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions from your end, Suad?
No, I'm okay. I'm waiting to get the links and start watching.
Same here. Are we going to have a communication platform?
Yes.
Where do we communicate?
It'll all be Google. Tamer and I afterwards have to have a conversation about how to create the Google infrastructure so we can all share.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Hamid, تعال بصخرة.
خزنوغ الشخاص قبل دواس نجي زقاريخ يستكاس دونيمش بسعودية يبجرم تيوخاوة في فرمات سرتك ونقوغ الشخاء.
Sorry.
حوا نجي مدونم مليون توش عادية شوبسو طور أنا قرا برسم بصير تركم بلشرة تخوري مدري قرا لغوهم ما بقي يزغو بدرسة نوش يحلب لاغو زي مش حي مش عادية شجاع بصوري قصديش توجزوها عبد لكن سنتانا أديك زي بغشون ما أديك مينك شكار أديك ميبلكار أديك متشدر أديك يشحق ريكوار ببزجون خويقم زي بغشون ما برزك بشوا أوخم هوا دا دي بزر زي تيبش ديماءو قرا لغوي ديماءو دي ونافذ نزقوريش معو تقيتحان خوي ساراسي فشكر مبلكا يتلسم زي ثلاث نانا نخبا خواسي سب زي غزونم سيخت يا بزكا تسخشيشم نواسس تاكو خواس توني بسوم ششو ينخبر تركم ششو هاو مدري قرالو هامش بسو عدي هامي خوزو أبغى بقوا أبشوا دزرتلاو تشيري مش أونلاين شوي مودو درس ريك وقت أبي وجمي أدي أي تي في بشكل دقيقة فكاية مقوي كوا تيبس شوش الزري أبي نجيبستو مينيش رشيد خورة سخريوبل مينيش رشيد خورة شش سخور تصغى باوري مينيش رشيد خوا نجي متى بزر أدي بزر داون بجيسن أدي شبكم وشحو أدي يبزي يوم غاسو أبهم نسواسا وكون مخو عارز كنقرو مشو أدي يبزم تيوخاب زري بوشان إما ساتن بابشو كناشتك سيكو ستاوروبول سكونما يغاسم سمقواما كارتم سيبتنسي هوا دتكنا كيلومتر مدي جيغ شت بسنا شت سامي شت بري شت يخبا شت أستاون خوي سكون خوي أبي وجراس أغوكم كونري كونري شسونر نيجي راسي ساعة يلتقم دوني بسوات يلتقم ساكت زيلس لاندر زيلس مفكاو نتا نيجي سا مسمفا أزينات تي جانتي أخشى بخشوا أخم فوقي وجو كنت في جسنسي يوجد ده أخ يزغط أنوز بزكوغرا سرا أخشى كي يفتغاكين شسري ريكلاما يسحا نيجي الريكلاما سوغوشا مزكو نسا مين رشيت النسا يبلار طبرا محمد غير يسحار جاري نيجي من بس تقيكير بسرعة أدي يثبتم زتكو مغزاو بغدحان سارز يجيش حزتيترز تيغاسجين كوي سارتو بلكار شغوبشان كويس بلكار بزشن كويس يو غزاوهم كتن كوي مارش بزر دت خنمش دنش عاديري بزم فونوقس نجي اخشك قاس شكونري شريت تمام مدد نجيب سودا يدغزنو فودا برويكتري ريج اري تمامش عوا ده بصوري دينك جداتن كويسا جانتيش غازس ممت تخجا ممت يزغام يشش تخم نبجو تخم وصزاو خشم نسكون كي غاكوس يتيان بجزش حشكو كزرقوك ونغفزم شزاو بروفيسور نسكون كسيت تتخنا مستري حشكو توش رز غوبس خشا امريكانو انجليزي بيدرس يزغاكاسا ما ديو سخويش نتانا سد ابديجم خز جرو كار مراس وي قوم اديه وي اما وي باش حميت ماري بوتف ارمر ما ساسوش لجابم زمستي تشرا زبسات تيت أسب أرغب مست صغار بودن مجيري أسب أرغب صغار بودن مجيري نجي أدغب زي بغاز أنا ما ويقول ويبسر أديه خنوي نوز بزا تغاز أو مشوا أبزم كيو بغد حنوي سا أدغب زا урысыбзэ зыцӏыкӏумытуэ, урысыбзэм щӏу тезгъапщӏэурэ материалым хэлъмэ, утыку къислъхьэти, а къагурымыӏуар инглизмэ инглизыбзэкӏэ, тыркумэ тыркубзэкӏэ сэ сщӏэрэ. Айтӏура сщӏэр нэхъ жысӏэфыну. Инглизыбзэм зэзэкӏыныр сыгъэхьэзырти сыкӏуэт, мыдрей тыркубзэр проблемэ, ау. Абы къыпэкӏуэу зыадейми тыркубзэ езгъащӏэт, абы и хъейри къызэкӏыжа. Адие цӏыхубзым, адыебзэ фӏэкӏа ӏурымылъу, тыркубзэ езгъащӏэти. Абы и хъейр къызэкӏа. Бзитӏыр зыблэхъуауэ зепхьэныр уи дауэ изын уи щхьэм и лэжьэкӏэр нэхъ тыншууэ зрегъэпэщ. Икӏи араси сэ Ларисэ дзэсэжьым и лэжьыгъэхэр икъукӏэ гъэщӏэгъуэну къэзгъэсэбэпа, Аслъэн цӏыкӏур гъэщӏэгъуэну къэзгъэсэбэпа, сэ жызори Ларисэ и лэжьыгъэхэр гъэщӏэгъуэнщ. Мащӏэу здэкӏ урысыбзэ хэтщ, а урысыбзэхэр адыгэбзэ сщӏыти, къащтэти, нтӏанэ Ларисэ и лэжьыгъэми зы гъэщӏэгъуэныгъэ иӏти, щӏыхь уэщӏу, ухепщэпыхьыфууэ, мыгъэбыдау, узыхуейм хуэдэу хеплъхьэнми, хэпхыжынми, сыт пщӏэнум ухуиту ахуэдэу кърилъхьай утыку. Дэри тыншыбзэу зетхьа ӏэщӏагъэр. Икӏи мы методыр, мы шыпсэм хэту адыгэбзэ егъэщӏэн жыпӏэуэ адыгэбзэкӏэ зэбдзэкӏмэ, къэщӏым хэтууэ, мы методыр тыркубзэми къагъэсэбэпа, тыркубзэм бзэм имыгъусэуэ физик, химия, биология, сэ сщӏэрэ кемистри жыхуэтӏэр. Ахэр ирагъэщӏэным папщӏэ, географие, мы шыпсэм хэтууэ, къэщӏым хэтууэ кърагъэӏуатэуи, абы щызэрахьа пщӏэрэ. Нобэ мыр ӏейд махуэм рат къыщызжепӏар жанти мыхуэдэу. Арат а махуэрат си гугъэмкӏэ, ипэрей махуэрат. Абы лъандэрэ схоплъэ. TPRS-ыр сыт щызори? Сэ къызэрызгурыӏуар араси, пэту хъарзынэщ проектыр. Ауэ къытызогъэзэжри, ди блэкӏар щыдгъэгъупщэмэ, зы цӏыкӏу дыхъуфыну. Мес, Суат фӏы дыдэу ещӏэ. Журтам я блэкӏар я нэ и ныбэ къызэрикӏым хуэдэу ирагъащӏэ. Пэжщ Суат. Журтам ирагъащӏэ я нэгу щӏэкӏар, я щӏыбауэм къыдана я тхыдэр. Кино сытам сыкъэсӏымэ. Сабиигъыпӏэхьэм сэ и видео слъэгъуа журтам я сабий зрагъасэр. Нтӏэ дэ ди блэкӏари егъащӏэкӏэ щыдгъэгъупщэныркъым. Ар ди бзэми, ди псэми, ди лъыми, ди къупщхьэми, ди фэми, ди гуми, ди щхьэми илъынщ. А ди нэгу щӏэкӏар захуэу илъынщ. Нтӏанэ сэ сыщыукӏытэн тхыдэ, сыщыукӏытэн блэкӏа утыку къислъхьэкъым. Сэ адыгэбзэм сыри докторщ. Ищӏым нэс роман мыстыми, Адыгейми, Къэрэщей Шэрджэсми, Къэбэрдейми щатха тхылъ седжа. Нтӏанэ щэмин напэкӏуэцӏ роман сиӏысэ сурэт тесхауэ. Щэминым нэс напэкӏуэцӏуэ. Шэт сыт итхами. Усакӏуэхьэм я усэхьэм схезэрыхьаӏым роману. Рассказ жыпӏэрэ сэ сщӏэрэ. Мисакӏуэдэу кӏэщӏу тхахьэм. Икӏи ахьэм псоми схоплъэри пщӏэрэ. Ахэр псори зратха щӏыкӏэр, абыхьэм сыт хъейр къыхекӏыныр, нтӏанэ ар дэ дауэрэ къэдгъэсэбэпыну. Сэм илъэсих хъуауэ абы сытегупсысыхьар. Сэ дакъикъэ пщыкӏутхум тесхыну видеор тхьэмахуэрэ ныкъуэрэ яужь сиц. Тхьэмахуэрэ ныкъуэрэ. Махуипщӏ я нэхъ мащӏэ. И тхыгъэр сотх, абы и макъыр щӏызогъувэр, нтӏанэ абы хуэкӏуэну текстыр сотх, ара, ар ятхъыр, абы и темэр ятхъыр. Дохъупщыз зыхъыкӏэ ныбжьэгъу къысхуэхъуа, Тыркум щыщу. Узыхуей сурэтыр пхуэстхъынщ жери. Сыгуфӏат хьэразэ къыпхуэхъужысэ. Характерыр псалъэм папщӏэкӏэ, азинат зи цӏэр, щэщӏым итс, компьютерым хещӏыкӏ, пианино йоуэр, волейбол мэджэгу, йосыр, сэ сщӏэрэ, кино йоплъ, Нэхущ Керим фӏыуэ елъагъу, Ахъсанэ йодаӏуэ жысӏэу, сэ сщӏэрэ, жэмыкуэ фӏэфӏщ. Унэм сэ сщӏэрэ, джэду щепӏ. Ахэр мыстыуэ щыпсэуэ жызоӏэ пщӏэрэ. Икӏи гъащӏэм хэту адыгэбзэр къызэрыпщтэм хуэдэу, Misabishwa adiyebze zazghashami ya adiyebze grow option adiyebze mifishar yeshor arasi mu projektir kharzaneditbes sitkhwado yevghashami snekedajhans hatsqui sana khafujs agodda nigi arasi dam projektim sitkhwada lajga khumi sitkhwado badahanmi ntana ha mzaqur yisins adiyashapqir ne Coca-Cola ne Google ne Goethe Institute adiyashapqis adiyashapqir isir qad gurmu'o so adiyashapqir isir jibora fqzawbshma yino shu bugoshma zir shakum yisu ari tepshayu yisu shakasu yisu shakum yisu midri ahitri naran akhbari Plusrech Ralogom Shogoshaw, Yanachmazo Bzitfia Ursu, Sapks. Adia Sapks. Awa, Sum Ahitem Yagriap Serichakum Shaw, Yanerishaw. Awa the Sukken give the Adia Sapker Kazerstaner, there's the Bradahaner, the Dowry is the Nachshak the Och anata hoto bad hafen ima. Organicus goras. Psakatu. Urshsayi u. Sash or shtike u. Sa sinasibim khazri hawa Arab qralo hamzi sikwa maw. Shakumra khasmra ya Turk khasmra shakumra faddu swazes. Qabardin inakhbajwa. Qasukhri qashari Tawre ekwakramis nigim Moscow shasi Moscow wipsiwo shipsam nogozgor bolaq yakur nogozgor gro awad sukke mebz adiya tkozama de shaptish qatqotam do dogufa nachi kokojma adiya qsukh bsora tamam sorry adiya bzege mebsatsh goru blog niga agodo sesinasbim qazri hami faghi zrani isaw Seyfager qazqasab puni awsitsi dam projektem nachet hafner di labqem dana diyebze bğajanım detkene metodri pakons pamukon metod şamsa satlan pabjaka hogotlole ilas tlishipa tkhishipa yitchat khilsim nobaq zoqasab sentana stisri minra shibura tosraplum shzaw minra shibura tkhisraplum nasgunti ilas shashim Adigabzeke qadaga tkhilkhwar psomi sakepsat zqamna alfaviti ders tkhilsi zoologia botanik estetizasiya adreti midreti mis janti shwazes am psomi skepsay vujum sopstri adigabze nakhabo khattab nigibstu shakum sha adigabzer qabshtama sham shashr takshos ghalakh narista sham aw shashr wursibzas Sham blishra diyebzir. Adigem nakhkej. Adigem. Plishim faka mo sham teknik tam bishma. Sach haga jipama adi grammar se chakhim ke magistratura styawa bitak shwazasi. Zed khilq boshtri psakhitkhum turas yipamre kemras adiyebzir midreshir ursibza. Naklaniner sitchuma prezentaciju psuma motke mokhri mokh yeri uch satlish ursibza qdeizri ndara ara diyebza khud haw abish hake ukonra tkhusami atkat khilmi yepli sa estetizatsiya juz khilsegati son Abdullah Zrizekaw yaw zadi yebza
ast khodelast
minra shibura tkhusra sh
1925 time.
Khilish qdaka sh plet khujiu
53.
53, yeah, I wrote
53.
1954 53 54 55
Yeah, three answers correct, one incorrect.
Damn. Nigi arasi abu khata diyebzebshon dana qasogon sa zaman mi atkat khiltam yikem de psalali isbsara qimot tuwa Sukhwana zbsatla ursibzamra diyebzamra zhitkhos bsatli itkhama ara diyebzekez ushawits yikemde. Qasogona Niki أنا شوب سري بصراحة ميس أنا قام كتاديجاب زي زوري تكسو كوكو بوش تري وزفهم هدوك على سبب ماتيماتيكرا ديجاب زي كي يزغجا فيزيكار يزغجا بوتانيكار يزغجا زولوجي يزغجا ميديسينا يزغجا فنس سيس تشليتو أديجاب زي كتشاو أديجاب زي زاقجا تخم شر أديجاب يتشاو تور زرات زكاو نجيب بوديزر توش جسر أديجاب زر بزتحمش كام ز أديجاب زر ثش تو أديجاب زر نو بيب شدي مش كي قابش كاجي قابوفاجي دي غاشر يوزكو فنس نتانا ده نغش تتخنا بزي يغاشر الميثودري أديجاب زي ما يتحدث فنس عواد يتلبقم زخير قد قرونا شنو راسي
ما دي بروجكتم ساسي قوغامجت we're brains. Hamid is going to be the heart, the soul of the project because he's
أديجاب زكا
أديجاب زكا مستر جيسا زغاشر توا ما أبيش أخذ 10 minutes حميد قد بسلاتي يجي دب تلاورا قديتا مينا شي بغى تخش رش طلب بسوري دق بسسجة زاست وديلس سست خاب تلاورا يجي قاس نوبشارا سست خا سزرقو بسسر بزاف سزرقو بسسر صورة غوار ماتيماتيكا ورا سزرقو بسسر غاشم تيوفارا أب بزاي زرية ميجي حقرا دي زرية ساش حاجة دخاغر مست حوارا مست شطبرا فوق لاغنو
مراش قشخور وزجبار حميد وزجبار بصوري سأرزش زبسالة ما توچكا تشوخ عبديجم اوزري بتقم داو امريكان كرشجار سزري غوغمچا مراش ددي بلحري جبستو ددي قرالر ددي قاد ددي قلال ددي خلقم تخم وخودو سخودو لاريسم خودو سعادم خودو دبصوري دخودم غوتويش ار كود غوتويش يتانا ده يزخر زاو راقم مراش داو امريكان كرشجار او ده يزخر ده دي زاكو زاوخر دو زاوا او زي دي خوخلت فنقم ده دي زاكو ده لازمه اراشي ده دي غصن خويش سزري غوغمشا وماتريال كود وياش كود سري سي غوغات سا كود سي اش سيزم قزغتشار او وكود نخفو وياش ده دي ثق قومر قزغتشار اوكي
جيسا سيقوغامجا يبسددو خاتوش تنويش تغاقر يجي ويزم وي ايدنتيتي وي تصفوغم فوقوا تغاقر ساسي قوغامجا بروجكت غزاد زحر أبجي سببينش جي تصفحمش حاجة أبيا تصفوغا وتنفويشا مستا تغاقر فمقومي نغزقوا فوقومي قاشخوان فويشا زقوا ياشاقون ويشا قوليح يا قوم فوقوا
أراشي سيسي أوخ يبلتشر سيسي قوب سيسجر مراش سسخويقم حميد جي أنر خونش بروجيكتر فش أو ما أدري بروجيكتر سي أش بروجيكتيت سخويقم حميد ي أغنو مرشافكم قدش سسزرخوير وي بروجيكتر سسي بروجيكتر لارا سعاد هامر بدخنا زي بروجيكتر زي بروجيكتراش ده بصوري ده دي غصو ده لازمة نخ بسنشو نخ تنشو نخ تاخو زاد فتشنوش ده دي أوخر عرزش يتوانا ري سزري قوب سسمجا ووي ماتريالخر فددش intermediate خجائر سم خودو بسالم بابس سسي فاش مخو سسي دي يبزر كوتش نخف خواش ميلتسيخم يبقى نوجم سج حجمي سجاش قاس زغور سوجا دي يبزر يتانا ما تحماخم قريو بدو زغور نبجوسي اشنا تشكم داسو دا ساحت نقطة سأبا ينجي لبجة سيغاسر يتانا ساحت نقر سأبا سيغاسر دي يبزر سسي فاش مخور يبقى سسي دي يبزر بيز خطاش يجبستو بيتو شاش ست زخوير مرشافخش ست زخوير يجري نخداخو نخبسنشو نختنشو سيري يبزر سزغش انور يجري نخديزو سيجانو سخويش قاخوت نغط زغور خر سيجاش миллион псалъэхэр псори зэхэту уеджэмэ, къызэралъхум дахыу худизу уепсэлъэфынущ. Сыт хуэдэ бзэр? Си фӀэщ хъуркъым зы миллион псалъэхэр сиӀэ сэ си тхылъым хэту. ИтӀанэ сэ си тхылъым хэту нэхъыбэхэр е зыщанэ уэрысыбзэщ, е созэш. Хьэлэмэткъым. Аращи дэ дызэрыхуейр хужаӀэр инджылызкӀэ graded readers. Псалъэм папщӀэ мис зыгуэр рассказ, мис зыгуэр хъыбарыщӀэ, зыгуэр тхылъ нэхъ кӀэщӀу, нэхъ мащӀэу псалъэхэр нэхъ къагъэсэбэпӀу, итӀанэ мис иджыри. Ар псори сфыкӀа нэужь мис зыгуэр къызэралъхум къыргъэкӀар, къызэралъхум псалъэу къыргъэкӀар. Си фӀэщ мэхъу уэ къомыр е нэхъыбэр уиӀэщ. Уэ езым къапщтӀащ, окей, уэ езым редакторым хуэдэу улэжьащ. УфӀэгъуэу, уи гум хэту. Мыӏэдрей, итӏанэ а методыр сэ сэгъуащ тӏэкӏу уи методыр, итӏанэ Алыхьым жиӏэм щыщхьэӏур щӏэдзыр дыдигъусу дызэрылэжьэнщ. Ауэ уи методымрэ мыӏэдрей методымрэ сэ си фӏэщ мэхъур зыщ. Сыт щхьэкӏэми псори хъыбарым техуэ аращ. Сызэригугъумкӏэ мыӏэдрей аращи метод зыщращ уэ къагъэсэбэпыр, сэр къызгъэсэбэпыр.
Janti, I'm sorry, guys. I have other stuff I have to attend to. I'm just running low on time.
We're recording. Okay, it's fine.
But yeah, recording Aqua. Down the way, we'll talk online about setting up the platform.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, sorry.
Thank you.
Зыдгъэцӏыхуар, сэри си гуапэ хъуащ мыбы зыдгъэцӏыхуащ мы. Тамэ жеӏэр слъэгъуащ псори зэгъусэу иджы.
See you soon.
Shit.
Inshallah.
Зыншыф.
Аращи сэ си гугъумкӏэ мыӏэдрей материалхэр дэгъэлъэгъуар, сызэгъэлъэгъуар къудейуэ TPRS къригъэкӏар, ар нэхъыфӏщ занщӏэу ущӏэдзынумэ, зыри умыщӏмэ. Ауэ си гугъумкӏэ уэ уи материалхэр нэхъыфӏщ intermediate B1, B2 хужаӏэр апхуэдэу къатӏым унэсмэ. Аращи сэ сызэрыхуейр псори ди гуащэ дэчӏыр зыщӏыпыр, дыкъаувэнур, сыт щхьэкӏэми сэ махуэ гуэр мы дунейм сехыжынущ. Уэри апхуэдэщ, дэтхэнэ зы апхуэдэщ. Окей, дэ дызэрыхуейр, дэ дыхуейкъым дэ ди лэжьыгъэр зыщыпыр дыкъаубыдыну. Дэ дыхуейкъым апхуэдэу. Дэ дызэрыхуейр псори хуитӏу ӏухауэ щыту. Аращ жысӏэнур. Итӏанэ уэ Алыхьым щыкӏуэркӏэ сэ ахъшэ тӏэкӏу сиӏэщ. Аращи зыгуэр ухуеймэ псалъэм папщэ жыпӏэнур. Мис сурэт псори сэ тесхащ мы романым къригъэкӏар. Хъунщӏри хъун, къэдгъуэтыфынщ зыгуэр хэкӏужым.
Сэ фотошопкӏэ згуэхьэ схуощӏым, сэ унэм сыщӏэсым, ныбжьэгъу зыкъом сиӏэщ. Хэзыщӏыкӏэ уэдэ згуэрхьэм.
Клавиатурымкӏэ дауэ сэ жысӏэр апэтеумкӏэ псори нэхъ дахэу итхынущ. Итӏанэ сурэт ухуеинукъым. Search and replace хужаӏэр copy paste псори дадиӏэнущ, электронни СМИ дадиӏэнущ. Псалъэм папщӏэ. Ауэ уэ зэрыжыпӏар ар секъуэкӏащ. Ужыпӏар пэж Гуглым хуэдэу, Кока-Колэрым хуэдэу, Готе институтым хуэдэу, апхуэдэу дыхуеинукъым. Ауэ сыми щапхъэ гуэрхэр дыхуейщ. Сыт щхьэкӏэми
Лъэмыжым уэду нтӏэ.
Лъэмыжым хуэдэщ. Ауэ еплъи сэ. Дэ дощӏэ къуажэ дэсхэр зыгуэрхэр дэди лъэпкъым щыщ. Унэ яхуэну яхуеймэ, сыт ящӏыр? Псынщӏэу тынщӏэу зыгуэр напэ ӏэлъэщым матхъри, итӏанэ занщӏэу мылажьэ. Окей, ӏущэнащэ пэтми, деплъынщ, умыгузавэ псори.
Ятӏанэ мыстым, дызыхуэсынщи, иджыри зэтщӏыжынщ.
ӏущэнащэ теж.
Иджы псори зэгъусэт, иджы уэдэ нэхъ тыншт, фыздэджэгум фыздапсалъэм.
Ар зыгуэрхэр позитивнэ, зыгуэрхэр негативнэ иӏэщ. Позитивнэ нэхъ псынщӏэу къырагъэтщ. Негативнэ чӏыух нэхъ псынщӏэу къагъэхъур. Ауэ мыӏэдрей лъэныкъумкӏэ деплъымэ, Китайм деплъымэ, сыт Китай ящӏа? Япэм щыгъуэ псори копи ящӏащ. Ауэ зэманыр иджыпсту енысар нэхъ губзыгъэ къыхъуащ. Сыт щхьэкӏэми апхуэдизу къомрэ копи къыргъэкӏам щхьэкӏэ ягъэсащ дауэ зыгуэр нэхъ дахыу, нэхъ тынщӏэу, нэхъ أزاغ أشعاغ قاشتاش أبش حاجة أراشي سيزي جوهم شا داد زرخير مش أركم how do you say blueprint in Russian?
Project, blueprint, чертеж.
أنت أراشي
Проект, чертеж.
ونا بسالفة بابشي بشو ونا ونشخوا كوارتيرة قد يا وخنا يا بمشوا أجي صورة خرياتك ميس مبخديزو حلاق مغشر توففنو ميس ستخديش حومش انجينير مقدو جاب ششخو مبديجم قاقو مر توك يغا خيفنش أبخدو أراش ساسي جوهمشا أراش داد زرخوير يجبستو اوكي ووي اوخي بلبلمشا سوادمري سري لاري خطري ددي غوبم ششو زبور ددي غوبسس
أبسالة حميتش أمسي حاجة أورجانيكو أنت أورجانيكو أبسوري أورجانيكو خنش بسوري دزخ حرز جوق جدزم دق دزرخ حاو دق جدزر تكونيتو زجوا قاچمي زجوا قاچنوش قاچانا وش أبز جوار وتبسلحو مبيا بغلاو قبل زجور حمي الترا ساس ريقوم جبصورة س أدغاغا جبخت خوخ الحنو ما بس هيجتو س فلاديكافكاس جبصو سيش حغوسري أدغام سي بنيسيا ما دغا زبسلحنري ساس داش بصور نقاش جباش أوا أدغاغا سي قوم خالشي أبش حاجة ساس تبسلحنو سيقولي حنو تا سي انستغرام قيس حويابتت مودا مو بحام بسومي دي بسلحاش تركومي غيجامي أمريكا غيجامي بحامي بسومي دزبسلحاش زو ساسي أنجليسكا زي زغاجم أدغبزجي وأنجليزبزجي زي غزر حار مودو تلاش دزبسلحاش زو أبيس قيس حنش تاكورا أتصف أب نو ستمي سجاسو جسن ساس زاقب سسريجي أدب خدزاو بلانها أوا بخدزام ونسنش حاجة نوبة بغطسنوي ستي جلدة مديخ فبزام وبديخ فبزام أجلدة دنديخ بسنوي تاكورا زقوا قاجام أجلدة مديخ قاجام تاكشا جبسس جبخوجي أجي يوا تام دي زقوا قاجام قفخي شخي أجي يوا ستمي ساس ريكو غام جاب سوري زغوسو دزخسانا ونش ساس يدغبزة جستو نخف ما سيجستو أدغبزة براكتيكا سياش محمد زب سلام يجوز جمس دبلت سجي معامي ساوجي أدغبزة ويغسو زغلطانو ايو سوفيش أودي سنو دقوانو اي أودي سجا أفشا جباري ساس أدغسي أدغاغة نخطيغ برسي
سريع بخدس إتانا سيف أشمخ فبصوري أركم
تخو تقزنجاش
حماخويت أجمع لحمجي أمس نال شكم سدسنوش أراسي سي guapo خنوش بصوري دزو خسفنا سعاد فجأة قصفة
سيس واسمان جزاش
سيش
كاميرا مفيب مسمو واسمان قشال خوام شغل مسمو يلاقويتر تيتزاو ساسي مستحمي وصو ساسا يزن سبي بنتي أمي عرسا سي بن سي قراش جستو بجزاش يا ففي هذا بسي كالندار نجز غلا باشا شو لكو بزغا ايش بش حاجه سس زري بساكله ب دغبزشي ابس هذا دغبز سري غاشوا بش حاجه سابجزاش في هذا قش السجن مست تحمخويت تجمزا متحماكم سسقونا مفودي كافكاس يشحوصا مغسوس شن زان دانا سقزو غزجري فيجيز تحماكو بلوجري سافي غسوس شن انجزا انتانا جريز تحماكو بلوجري في عدر يغزجري انتانا جريز ويكند زب تلنج ابش حاجه سا بلان فوزوش اب ويادا قص يبجا سا سقاكوانا ويكند مجيس نبدا جبون الجبا دكوان ستمي بلان بعد وصو اساسي قحلات زر قحل زر زغلقونو سفيت مسا سا دغبزه ساسي غاشب قزر زب سالم مش حاجه يجيس از السبيح راش بصوري جد زر ساسي كوغم جاب حم يا دغاغر قچن فودويا
دي زمان راب كوديزو تشخوامي دا مؤخر دوخنو خويش راشي زغور نقش اشجس انا سزخويري جبستو سزي جوبسسم مراش بلان زغورجس انوش في غريحه ما قجاء في غريحه ما زانشو رقجاء سزي جوبسسم ميثود دا ارزش دي ميثودم تيخواوا زبسل نغم تيوخواوا زغور خبارم تيوخواوا عرف الددش عرزش يتانا سيغوخمشا مو ادري ماتريال خر ديبثار سيزمس في غثوار ار تمامش مست زغور شصيدزمش حاجه
beginner أدغابزم أدغاهم كيشجمي كيمشجمي عارفستمي زغوزا
أشخري بساتش أشخري جراماتيك تنشري ار تمامش سيفاش موك حميدري زغور تمام يأش أو شصيدزم حاجه أبغراش قد شتنور يتانا حميد نخ intermediate نخ يتواني يشانري قاتم نسار عار نخفش سيزيقوب سوسمسا سيج حاجمي مو أدري ماتريال B1 B2 أبديجم قاو فأر يتانا سيساواش حميد يا ماتريال B1 B2 C1 C2 أبديجم فددش أراشي مراش جس أنر دبسوري ددي قصو يابو زغور ما جوجل درايف سرا تامر قدو اخنشري بسوري ما ادري ماتريال ست سيزن قد غجار ست مو تي بي ار اس ام قراتار جوجل درايفم دغاو فينوش حميد وزخويم خدو زغور شناغو وي اما ارو وي اوخس ومغزافا وزخويم خدو مو انترميديت خجار وري و ياغوف ابديجم إتانا ثنقيت ديبلنش ميس ما أدري ثنقمشا خط ششيدزر عارمو تي بي ار اس ماتريال هر قد غصببنش يتانا ما أدري ثنقمشا خط نخ advanced intermediate advanced B1 B2 قاتر ينسار حميت يماتريال هر قد غصببنش يتانا سيزم حميت يا كورسر سيسنوش على حمجي ام حماكويت اجما يتانا مراش
ادريمازم زا سيتيامبرم يشيم زار
ارا سيغو اوكي خونش ديبلنش
انت سشاكيش بما غوب ما هو يجتا ساو خيمس اتسنس وري ناتشي كوشان سيتاك زبودا غدو خنس حسابه وشاو دير سيتاك سوم
ديبلنش
تاكم يخنش واش بارس بلاورا ساجي سزاري كوبسس محمد كوشتش دغاغ غيغلاغو ساسي غوخمجا دا نخرب سومي وشيفلم مساسي اداش خومس سيتاوان ايوس فيمس ودوش تنفيج ودا تصفرا مست بزاز زي بخارجي وي دوني بس قبلاكوا ست خطوة ويناغو خطوة دغاها وخطوة ويغسا جيمسا سيكوغامجا ما حميد ايو خرزنو ادغاغر اغلاغر جيمسا حميد غسو فيديو جاش غوارها دازي غسا وسا يزم سناكو ادغابسا زغسا مست ايو سفاغاجوان با انو مست ستودا جبات خلا مست يجيز بلاورس سفجام ادغابسا جا شغبشاج 1953 أنا صوبتلي أو سخوزجتم يجي قزوغزاجري أشكولهم شيء جام سوقي قزوغزاج مينا شي بغورة تخوزرا الشغام يا تلاغر ساز غشا هو زي بغشا تام جانتي زي غشا فيديوز واحد تيتخم سبي زازمزق خبغوفان ويش مسوا ده حمسمو beginner متشوا ميس مراش وزي بغاسر من تنش مقصد زي مراش وزدوجاوا يبش نسمعها مودو شتش تفو زداكوا جبوم سوادو ساس زريقو غمجا ساس زيزغاشو يا زمس غورم سيزغاشو شتم أودو سفافش زغور تنشو قصازو أو جوجو سيبلنو جوجو شام يجي تفو نخ سيقوري حنم يغسو دي بدي يغسو يبخاو مسابحة مسيبلنو سفافش يجي ساسي قوغامجا promotion video يا ديالوج غوار يا زغوار دا يزن دخاتو تشخنو شاجي أدغاغا تفوغا وو يا دغاغا نا ويديشو خاتم شوا نا وزر جباودو أدغو شتنويش أبسوري بجانش حاجة يجي دا يزمي دا شحاج مسما جروبهم دخاتمي أدغاغا نخ Klaus, anyway, das ist auch so sehr mit Gabse. Das Hamid advanced to Spanish.
زكوسر قاوة أنخويش راشي مراش أنور ثنقيت ديبلنش ميس beginner خجار ميس intermediate خجار بسوري دي ماتريال خرت قاو فانوش أبديجم أوكي ما جوجل درايفر وزخويم خدو حميت زغور ومخويمي ارو اوخ زمي جي انقم زغور ابتي خواوا يتانا ارغورو دزخوزن خويش بصوري مو ماتريال خر ديبلنش بلان غور ديتش ان خويش ستة انور يتانا خت زغور للجغا قيشت انور او سسي غومجا زغور beginner ثن وانا دي اش يتانا intermediate قدامة ري دخويش يتانا مبودو جست انوش وخويمة حميد ينجي لبزج زبغش انا وخويمة سا مو ادري يا ما TPRS ماتريال خر سا وزغش انوش اديغا ينجي لبزج تدي غوصو دلجانش بسوريا دي جرجت تخامة ينجلبجة تخامة ديبلنش ست شواغة ختمي يتانا ويزم ويبلنوش داوة ميتودر ملاجر وخويمة ومخوميمي ياري خونوش
هو سا TPRM تي وخاوة تاكو انفورماتيز كوس حسا يجازوكي كنت ميغز قروا تركمي أبتي وخاوة دوكلاد ياتخاوة زبجانة سيجا هوا بزي غزون مخوة نيتا يجساي فيزيكا ماتماتيكا سشرة كيمستري سشرة بيولوجيا أبعام تيوخاوة
دنيم تيوخاوة تغبزة جمسات سبيحة ميابيحن
TPRS القاغة سبباوة سيبتري غزوان الشخاص سا أدي غبزة غازم كتا أدي غبزة جسو ديرسو يزغاق وقت مو بسمرة بشكو شمرة يتوز قبسيد تور لندن شبسو مدريار اسطنبول شبسو تركم شبسو سشرة هاتك استونيا شبسو تسكو زشكو تاواو هادي يبزا بغازري زي زمحاو نيكا تسكو هار جيش بلاندا اونلاين ومستم بغدستي سا زساعت رنا قرأكي سيغوسو ديرسياشت هاتسكو هار يزاش حتى مجرد
خاصة غوانش ندايجو نو وي جامس جدابلوس جس يسمسو سابلا ورس درشت ست شغمي جباس يشحا يتشا جاز جباس زرقوان مسا دوني غاشون مسا سبي مودش بسوري شان سوفاش مبست موست و ساسو تاو زركب زركبشو تيجي تخبزه داخل زرجبي سنو دا سوري
لارا سايتم دكوتي بشرا بغيشكتي لاري خيرش خو زكاة حرازس خوخون زفمكيش زوار كودي سريع وورد هولر سريع زوغا سبب باو لارا ويب سايت قزقون خواي وجم سرسر زريش جا متوكس كيف شفاحتي نيتو زريجساو اتكم سخجب كات بشرا زر ونفس صوتي
حتى تيتساس سايت مسا سريسي بغا بشلاقا اما لاريسا زمان سياتا مسكلنوي يستوفش
Чатам гритхема работен зан so сас симстим шест хява.
Йитсарсет, йитсар. Зазвотен дал
сайт. World Wall. Ну я там сейчас я.
Как погуглить его? Я сама найду. Пока будете разговаривать, я буду смотреть как раз.
Так, сейчас я ссылку скину.
Можно и так, в принципе.
Так, вот сейчас.
Google مسيحة قصدفان لازم حزب.
سي اش ميس.
مست أساسي كل حتى وزش خبا مست زجبا بصوري زفوت حسو دي بلوس تميا فيديو يا زغور مساوج بها حميد ايوا غجوانت فيديو زغور فتخا مو زوم مشات
زغنا شيش صحت تشاو ديز
واو سرغا حزروا بغاشو وجي حزرش تفوز بغاشو beginner قص عادم شقة تك ورا خبز هونش مساودو advanced
نجيبستو أزينات دونيبسو جورنالم قتيت زنوا بيبر شو تبغى تدوها حزر نجي أدغبزة يغش أنم تيوخاو نكيمي يزغش أس نكيمي أدغبزر أديهم دور زرزكاش أرقص فتاب صورة مينرا شيش رسحت ديرس يزغشا زيكلس بسوم زيز بزمغاو أديرسم زيز بامغاو صف بلش قشحا بلش أتسك هاري أخدت يوزر ديرسم قصفون كي أتسكو يرقشحا بشرا زيز بامغاو نكي أبهم ياسحت ليفل هو ميس جانتي زيكتا غوبر nach level шхадд дараат.
Advanced.
Текстэр гачтэти текстым ипэр згупым яш, зикэр згупым яш, сэшурэ шипсэм гпашэт ntane цӏыкӏухэм жыпӏэикӏыу жыпӏэкӏуэнымэ мэжгитӏым сыблэкӏа паркым сикӏа лъэмыжым къэзгъэза моткӏэ сыдыхьа хущхъуэ щащэм сыщӏыхьэри мыткӏэ сыкъыщӏэгыжа мобагъ апхуэдиз ахъшэ еста ntane начик илъэтыкӏыу Лондоннэ здауэ лъэтэну адыгэбзэкӏэ. Ет къащэхуу
къысфэжьыгъуэу схэкӏыжын фай спачӏэ гуэрым сыкӏуэну.
Tamam.
Tamam.
Жэӏэпсэу.
Нги араси минрэ щищрэ сыхьэтым и кӏуэцӏым сэ сызытемыӏэба темэ къэнаӏым пщӏэрэ. Къэзмыгъэсэбэпа методи къэнаӏым. Сэ социологи седжа, сэ си лъапсэр социологиес, магистратурэ си адыгам теухуауэ. Ауэдэ щыхъукӏэ сызыхуэза цӏыхухэр зыхуэныкъуэр сэ щӏэрэ адыгэбзэ курсыр дауэри ебгъэжьэн хуей. Анализ умыщӏу улъыхьэфынӏымэ. Адыгехьэр фирмэӏым щӏыжысэр ара. Адыгэ лъэпкъым зы исыр сощӏэ дунейм тет дэтхэнэ лъэныкъуэмкӏэ егъэджа Канада, Австралие щыӏэ, дэнэ щыӏэми езгъэджа пщӏэрэ. Дунейм жызори къыхемыхьауэ къралыгъуэ куэд къэнаӏымэ а курсым. Хэкум щыщи, майкоп щыщи сэ щӏэрэ дэнэкӏэ щыӏэри. Ауэдэ щыхъукӏэ куэд нэгущӏэкӏ зыхубохьэс. Ахэр нэгъи систематикууэ мы TPRS-ым хуокӏуэуэ дгъуфыфынщ тыншыбзэу. Сэ сысхуейр мыращ. Ньютон тӏощӏ жиӏар си гъущӏыр зыщӏэзгъэкъуэн, и лъабжьэм щӏэздзын къызэфти дунейр и пӏэм зыгъэхъеин жиӏатэ. Сэ сщӏар зэрыфлъхьэн щӏыпӏэ къэвгъуэти, къыщывгъэлъэгъуэн щӏыпӏэ къэвгъуэти сэ тхуэзмыщӏын щыӏэкъым. Мис адыгэ ITV сынэсапщӏэ, минищрэ щитхум нэса. Адыгэ ITV Фейсбук закъуэра, Ютуб хэттӏым, Инстаграм хэттӏым, Твиттер хэттӏым. Фейсбук закъуэм минищрэ щитху йоплъ. Фэ щӏыпӏэ къысхуэвгъуэти, сэ программэр я нэхъ дыдэр фхуэсщӏын. Ар къыщывгъэлъэгъуэну ар супермаркет щӏыфэрэ, маркетинг щыфщӏыну щӏыпӏэр фэ къэвгъуэт. Аращ фэ фи ӏуэхур. Программ щӏыныр, программ къэхьэзырыныр мис Ларисэ. Ларисэ схурикъуни, нэгъуэ зыри схуейм.
Хъарзынэщ, дыдэщ иджы.
Схуэгъауэ
куэдуи гуэшхуэ хъунущ зи гугъэмкӏэ. Сыт жэнти уэ сыт уи гугъэ?
Уей сымыщэ, сэ си акъылыр мэджыразэ иджыпсту.
Ара хъарзынэщ, зэ нобэ дызэпсэлъэн, итӏанэ иджы итӏанэ къомысэри сегупсысын хуейщ иджыпсту. Дызыпхуэсым сымаду дызэпсалъэра сэ си гугъэмкӏэ хъарзынэ зэ тхьэмахуитӏым.
Ар хъунущ, ауэ сэ бжесӏам хуэдэу, сэ бизнесмен гупсысэкӏэ сиӏэщ аращи, сытым дежи зыгуэрэ зыӏущэ дыухмэ, сытым дежи дауэ инджылызыбзэ зэрыжаӏар, къыкӏэлъыкъуэ лъэбакъуэхэр дыкъаувэн хуейщ. Аращи, дэ унафэ тщӏын хуейщ иджыпсту. Сыт щӏэнур? Сыт дыди къыкӏэлъыкъуэ лъэбакъуэ?
Secretary, сэ сфӏэфӏищ. Къэзбжыну псори, стхыну статистикам зеплъэн сэ сфӏэфӏищ.
Ауэ зыгуэр тынчӏу аращи сэ
уэш бахьэм щыщу тамэрэ уэрэ сэ къызэрызгурыӏуамкӏэ бжесӏэнщи, нтӏанэ псори зыхуэдгъэкӏуэн. Тамэрэ уэрэ жыпӏатэ Google Drive къэвгъэхуэтэну зыгуэр Kabardian группе, Насып группе, зыгуэр мыстэ щӏыпӏэ дыхуейщ дыздэфуэсу псори дыкъакӏуэу дыхэпщхьу деплъу зыгуэру тщӏэну. Нтӏанэ абы къыхэтхыу зэдгъэпщу зыгуэр зытетлъхьу къэдгъэхутэну си гугъэщ. Сэ си гугъэмкӏэ number 1 дэнэ а щӏыпӏэр? Псоми къытхуегъэхь easy адыгэбзэ, easy зыхэсхат ахэр абы ипэкӏэ. Мис плъагъурэ. Зумым сэ сыкъикӏыжым мы псори къэнэнуӏым, дэнэ здэкӏуэну. Кӏуэдынущ. Сэ щӏыпӏэ тхауэ сиӏам хъунут. Сара сызэгупсысыр. Псори зэгъусэу дыздэлэжьэну щытым, space дыхуейщ. Щӏыпӏэ дыздэлэжьэн псори зэгъусэу. Итӏанэ иджы сэ сщӏэӏым. Уэ жыӏэ.
Miras
Space.
Sigorsa. Number 1, Yaparawa, Sarah, Tamara,
يو ببسس
مبساثر ستار
أراتا أدغبزة
أكران سأركا مبساثر
screen
حوا no خماكم خماكوشمتا خماكاغمتا security خماكاغمتا قد أخن خويش ما جوجل درايفر يتانا بصوري ففي إيميلخر خماكاغمتا تغاوفنوش بساثم بابس زمينا غش ما جوجل درايف يحنا مش حاجة عرزش open up Google Drive
يجستو شاب بسومي زغسو مستخدش جاحم يا أنودو
يتانا خطري يا خوير يا ماتريال خر يا غوفنوش ما جوجل درايفر سا سيستم زغور أبس غوفنوش بساثم بابس beginner intermediate advanced سش أراب خدو uploader by learner category يتانا أبنمش يجري جوجل دوك سزرخير جوجل دوك قزو أخنوش أبديجم خطري يا بروجيكتور أبديجم ست كود بزمتش يتخن خير يا بروجيكتور بسوري أبديجم تشأشو تخنش ميس إيزي أدقابزة ميس جان سا بروجيكت أجي سي أس سوشا حميد أجي يأش يتانا أبي شباغمتش هوا أبي يتشم يشاغمتش أبي يشاغمتش دا أبقو نغل زغور فخويمة أبديجم ريتخي بساشم بابشا خونشوكن لارجي أنوش فيديو غاقورو أنمش زغور سخويش حميدجي أنوش صورة غور خر سخويش ساس زرخوير ساس سخويكم جس أنر ميس زي بروجيكت راش سي أر بسوري ففي بسوري فسسي لجاكوش أراكم سزرخوير سا ديكتيرتور سشتنو سخويكم ساس زرخوير بروجيكت زبجانخر دي أش دا بسوري دا يذكر دا أبقونوش زغور نغش شقوة دا غشمة عارف الددش زغور شتو دا دي غصو دا لاجمة عارف الددش راس زرخوير
زغاتنش الساس زريقو غمجة ساس حتو شي بطسي أشت حماخم تنشو أدغبزم يستفنم زغوا يا سكانر حامق بغاجن فيهم يا صورة تتخن فيهم يا زغوا موجي غحن متجي غحن أساس وجنش تنشو يا أوستم يا سنوب زبسالم سا براكتيكا قزيت أدغبزت شمغو بسجن فود تلاقوا زريد زي بزر زريد زود أدغبزت جو كوادرج زاتا مسبسلاتا أمي يا
سا بروجيكت أجي سي أش زنقر يوخار بسالم بابش مرسسي بسلاتش
بعم سلاتش بعم
يا أزينات مريت لواش أو مبسلاتم سوري زكتو مينرا شقوت مين بسالكر شقوت مين بسالكر بسوري بروفيسيونالم ينجلبزا ترمشكر ورسبزا ترمشكر بسوري يبلاش يتانا دتخنا بسالر يمحنر يأش بسالو خاري يأش قيغلاو غرداومر قاغسا بابنر ساس زرخوير يجري حرب بزري تركب زري يتانا قبر ديبزري بسوري دغاوفنو مبديجم ما بسالكر بسوري زبغاشما قزراشم نخداخو خديزو ويبسلنوش عارف زي بروجيكت راش راشي سري بروجيكت أجي سي أش
سسر زي جيجي بجاستمي عارف سوري AI مخوشنش أبي تاكس فيجاش تسمو مستر إسكوستني إنتلكتا شوام بس سري قوامجا أو ماتريالي أقومر أبي يبغشخو أبي زغورجي قبدا أبقو فنجري خنوشا يا فيديو أوديو يبغى حنمز غورنم حميتي تخنشتن بس زمان داب شيحن أواك مستم برنامج يبتزرا زغور أدغبزة جاجو يبسلفو يبغى سم يا زغور ودو ماتريال غور حقوي تما قبدا أبقون نو بصومي قبدا أبقون ودو سبوشسر يجي غزوانشا زي يبغى السن يز إياري سبيم ودش يبغى السن وي أدغبزة شو إياري مش حاجة زميت كم أدغبزة
أو يجي خودش شزم بسوري دي بروجيكتور بسوري دي ماتريال تغاوفن كويش ست حاجمي بسوري قد قرأ أنا مش حاجة ست بسوري دي بروجيكتور يتنا داوة دي يزخر دزر أبوكوفنو
سبشرات زرقو بسسري جي Змахуэ щӏэм куэдрэ мыбдеж згъэлъатэ мбажьбэ псори зыхэтхъуащ си щхьэри си гъащӏэри. Зыгуэрым артворк ищӏат куэд ӏейщӏэ адыгагъэ мысл алфавитым уэду. Хуэзгъэхьатэӏауэ. НтӀэ дахэӏейуэ ищӏат, сыт зыкӏэ сигу ирихьати си англизыбзэ зезгъэкӏа хъыджэбз цӏыкӏум. Абы иджысту лъэсит хъуащ уже. Сэ сыныбжьэгъу хъуа иджы. Иджы ар ӏейуэ губзыгъэ щытми, ауэ адыгагъэм къегъэзэжуращ иджыстуи. Сепсэлъат, мис моду эксперимент уэду тхыдурэ зыхуедгъэхьын зэ. Адыгэ мыстжыпӏын макъым сурэт цӏыкӏу иту. Сурэт цӏыкӏу мыс бжьакъуитӏ тету уэду, зыгуэр дахэӏийуэ итхар къэзбгъэгъуэта artwork. Mr. Ekadu?
Azina, put it on the Google Drive. Okay. Put it on the Google Drive. I'll do an email. I'll send an email with a short summary. Put it on the Google Drive and write what it is. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I think about is just to maybe it's too far-fetched, but I would create system outside English, outside Russian, as it is, like with Mr. Zuteo but Dawadu Denez the Bhazan Latin Hamara mo Kiri we Zawa Hunush. بوي مزاوز بوي زم قبكو بسس خنو بارتزو سس بيها بسس بسس ما دوسي بسس السورة تكون نفس فتنش تسش أبجاق ويتا تيتو مست مجم ودو جبو عار مش جبو مست زغورو سورة ايو سيقولي حال ستمي لاتينم تيمتو يجي كيريليتسم تيمتو أدغار
Azzy, put it on the Google.
Too far-fetched.
It's not. Listen, it's not too far-fetched, but we need to be focused in these conversations.
Yeah.
We need to be focused. And I'm not saying there's bad ideas, but we cannot spend. I wanted this to be an hour-long conversation, and we're almost at 3 hours now. Okay. So it's good that we have these ideas, but let's put it on the Google Drive. Let's document it on the Google Drive. And then we can share.
Yes, space
today,
number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will do an email later today to everybody. نوبة تقطعم على حمجة أمس صحت تقطعم بصوري دز جروار مبدأجم تشاشو ستكنوش ده فلنش أدي قبضت أوا
أدي ده كم براكتيكا سريس مستفخشون هون تاسيا
تكبر ستكنوش بصوري زجور تشاشو ست ددي ونافخر ست دي قدشت لقوت لباكو خور قد جروار مبدأجم عرزش على حمجة أم زت حماقة تقطعم من زمانر دز خوزانو شارجورو أوا ساس زرخوير ونافط شنوش زسحات شد زخوزانوش نخبسنشو ديسيبلين دخويش جتنا زسحات زخوزانوما زسحات راش زخوزانو اوكي
ده الشبات جارا July 31st الشبات تشتم سا نالتشيكس ان شبشوغن و شيكاغوش
عاروي اوف
سس سنيحانو شاو في اسمان فزالهم
يتانا سارة تامر لحمجي أم دزخو زنشري ستش حاجمي خما غنغم شحاجة دا دزرخوير بصوري ما جوجل درايفر دا عوفما دا دخوير كم زغور راب قد غنو خابنو أراقم دزرخوير خنو أبخدو
Yeah, space number 1. I think this is the great. Gather everything, sort out, figure out what to do, think about it. In 1 week, come back and think about it more.
إتانا أوستمي مراش سزرقومجا يجري زغور زوش دفوينوش مبتيخواو دي تبصحان مشاجا أو دد زرخوير ديسيبلين مرا يتانا فوكس دد زرخوير زدو بروجكت أشو دا قاو بدنشري يتانا دوخنوش يتانا ست قتشلقور زدو قتشلقور زدو دد
ديرسو يا بروجكت زكزكورا
خونكم جوبسس كدو دي أما زي ما أخر زد غفتش إنه قام أبخدو تشما.
ساسي قرامجة توشة جديد زفوزشتم بصوري زفوحساو تيوبسل لحاوس ترى 3 weeks is not too much for a project. approach проектым теухуау згуэ къэдгупсыс хъунущ.
نعم.
Сэ си гугъэмкӏэ псынщӏэу ар къыдгурыӏуа нэужькӏэ псынщӏэу псори зезрихьэнущ. Псори диӏэщ-тӏэ, псори уже диӏэщ. Хьэмит абы дапщэ бжыгъуи иӏэ, мыстэ видеоти сытти. Абы тӏэкӏу къыхэбгъэжым, мыбдеж къыхэбгъэжым, уэду веб-сайтым дахыу ибгъувэм, ӏэкӏэм демо сурэт пхъуэжым мыс зыгуэр къибгъувэжым, жыпӏэурэ аудио тӏэкӏуращи, аудио тӏэкӏур сэ фхуэстхын, Марго хуитхын, зыгуэрым хуитхын. Стыми а псынщӏэ ӏейуэ хъуну си гугъэщ ар. Ауэ мы проектирование зэманым иджысту тӏэкӏу зэрызыхыхьэрэ сэ си гугъэмкӏэ. Абы ӏейуэ сэбэп къыхуохъу. Зы тхьэмахуэ дэкӏым иджы зэ дызыхуэзэжым, сэ сымыпсэлъэу, си жьэ зытейм спо псоми седэӏуэнущ.
Псори узыхуейр? Я, солса. Псори узыхуейр тхы. Псори узыхуейр тхы, мо Google Doc.
Мы къомыр дэ стху, ара сэ си гъащӏэ зэрысхьыр. Сэ ара псалъэ куэдрэ. Сэ си гум илъыр сыпсэлъэху ислъхьурэ абы. Сабийхьэм хуэдэу. Ялъагъуэр псалъэ ират, ялъагъуэми а бзу цӏыкӏум. Мыр бзущ жаӏэри и гум иралъхьэ иджы а бзу. Natural learning.
Американхэр псэлъэж гуэр яӏэщ. Уэ пщӏэрэ, мыращ дауэ американхэр жаӏэр. Уэ пщӏэрэ сыт нэхъ дыщӏэ уи псалъэхэм нэхърэ?
Уи гурэ?
Уи даӏуэ.
Зэи схузэфащӏэ.
ИтӀанэ американхэр
Тӏэкӏу сэри себгъэщӏэнщ. Сэ плъагъурэ адэшхуэ сиӏатэм. Сэ илъэсигъ сыщыхъуам си адэшхуэхьэ псори тлӏат. Иджы сэ сызэдэӏуэн згъуэттэм. Псалъэн фӏэк сиӏуэхутэм.
ИтӀанэ американхэр щыжаӏэр алыхь зы жьэр къуитащ, ауэ тхьэмахуит. Тхьэм
зы жьэр къуитащ.
Тхьэмахуит иритащ. Аращи, апхуэдэу ratio, okay? Зы псалъэ тӏу удэӏуэн хуейщ. Зэхуэдиз. Ставия ratio. Духа. Хуабжьу си гуапэ хъуащ. Ларисса, ди жагъуэ зэрыхъунщи, куэдыӏуэ депсэлъамэ. I'm sorry, but for 3, I think we covered a lot of good ground in 3 hours.
цӏыху куэду щытым арат хъарзынэ. Хыр йодаӏуэ плӏым апсалъэр. Итӏанэ плӏы псэлъахьэр итӏанэ йодаӏуэ, мо едэӏуахьэм уже зэгупсысар псалъэу щӏадзэ. Япэщӏкӏэ псэлъахьэ яжьэ здрапӏэр йодаӏуэ. Аращ зэману зэрикӏуэрэр. Тогда, okay, so we wait from you. You are the main. I could be your secretary. Yeah, if I can help you with organization, but I think you can handle it. But anyway, if you need secretary, I'm here.
I appreciate it.
The Bank of Azinat also, I'm here. No problem.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Ео си гуапахаш, Хамид ео си гуапаш зэзгъэзэхуа. Лариса цӏыху. Ео, да.
Еуэ, узыншэу
Yeah,
Хейрэуэкӏи, узыншэу.